We're live. How's everybody doing? We are live. It is Impact Wrestling Against All Odds. We're about 30 minutes or so away from Impact Wrestling Against All Odds going live on the air. It's an Impact Plus special event, so if you haven't got Impact Plus, now is the time to get it. Sometimes I will say, sometimes Impact Plus, especially when we get closer to an event going live on the air, sometimes Impact Plus can get a little bit testy, especially when there's a lot of interest for an event such as this, such as the main event for tonight. So if you haven't ordered the event, order it now. That would be my advice, to order it now, because you never know. You just never know sometimes with Impact Plus. I've got my Impact Plus app up and running in front of me as we speak right now, because we're going to be doing a watch-along. We're going to be watching it along together, chatting about what we see, the matches that we see, reviewing them, I guess, in real time, even though I hate to use the word review. We're going to be doing that in real time. We're going to be talking about some Impact Wrestling. Massive main event with Slammiversary implications tonight. Also, we have Slammiversary implications. We also have an AEW kind of vibe to this one, not only with Kenny Omega being the AEW and Impact World Champion, but you also have Daily's Place is where the main event is going to take place tonight. And I think, given that it's taking place inside Daily's Place, I think we could have some AEW cameos in the main event, which is exciting. When it comes to the main event, this isn't much of a spoiler, really, so I don't think it necessarily matters too much. Fightful Select have released a report today about the main event between Moose and Kenny Omega. As I said, don't worry, it's not a spoiler or anything like that. Essentially, it answered the question that I said during one of the videos talking about Against All Odds, and that's, was the main event going to be live, or was the main event going to be pre-taped like the rest of the card? Now, obviously, the rest of the card, Against All Odds, was recorded 4 weeks ago at this point, whenever the last Impact Wrestling television tapings were. I can't remember, because time just feels all at once for me. I'm like Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen, it feels like at the moment. But I questioned what was going to be the situation when it came to the main event of tonight's show. Was it going to be live, like beaming in essentially from Daily's Place, or were we going to see a situation where it was pre-taped like the rest of it? Now, in reality, it has been pre-taped. By all accounts, the Kenny Omega Moose match was taped around a week or so ago. It's been kept very secret and hush-hush. From what Fightful Select, which is their Patreon service, be sure to check that out and subscribe. From what they are reporting, everyone they've spoken to has said it's a must-see match. And everyone that has seen it or is aware of it has said that it was taped about a week or so ago and it was brilliant. So I'm very excited to see that. Didn't mention the outcome or anything like that, so we don't have to worry about that. But they just mentioned it's must-see and it's very, very good. So it was pre-taped about a week ago. Interesting, though, that they said as well, this is worth pointing out, is that they mentioned that not a lot of the talent were aware of this either. So a lot of people in Impact Wrestling weren't even aware that the main event had been taped. They weren't even aware that it had been taped in Daily's Place or anything like that. So a lot of secrecy when it comes to this main event. But those that have seen it are saying that it's must-see, which is exciting. Oh, God, nearly choked. If you are new to the channel, you just watch me choke live on air. It's because I've had, this is becoming a staple now. I've got the energy drinks ready. This is how I get through these late nights at the moment. I have the energy drinks ready, and then I try and get up really early the next day, and it never goes well. It never goes well. Anyway, my point I was going to say is, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Smash a like on the like button for this stream as well. Makes it go up the ranks, get into people's recommendation feeds. If they're planning on watching Against All Odds tonight, they can watch it with us, and we can make them aware of that by smashing a like on the like button, sharing the video as well as clicking the subscribe button too. We'll do a quick subscriber check, and I will get to the live comments because I can see a couple already in there. But I know that we're less than 100 away from 4,000, which is obviously ginormous milestone. Ginormous milestone. So Dragon's Tour 1234 says, please don't die. I mean, I'm hoping that's not going to happen on the stream, I'll be honest. But, I mean, what, 4 minutes in, me choking is a new record, frankly. We are 80 subscribers away from 4,000 now. I don't think we'll get 80 subscribers tonight. If we can, amazing, like genuinely amazing if we can. I'm not sure we will tonight. Maybe towards the end of tomorrow's watch along and live stream, we're going to be doing an NXT takeover in your house watch along and reaction post show tomorrow night as well. So maybe we'll get to 4,000 tomorrow, but we're close. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, smash a like on the like button. We'll check it out. We'll check it out throughout the night. Darthor says Alexander should be on every pay-per-view. Dragonstorm1234 says, hello, Owen. How are you doing? I'm doing very well, apart from when I just nearly choked there. Are you looking forward to the show? Yes, I am. And Dragonstorm says, don't die. Good advice, Dragonstorm, to be fair. I am looking forward to the show. What we'll do, because we're about 25 minutes or so before it goes on the air on Impact Plus, we'll go through a quick run-through of my predictions. You can let me know your predictions in the live chat as we go along. Super chats are also open, I must mention. Super chats are open. You can contribute to the channel by clicking the $sign. It's the best way to support the channel. Any amounts you would like to donate or support the channel is the best way of doing it. So you can click the $sign. Super chats are open. Andrew Pollard says, hi, Owen. Hi, Andrew. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us here tonight for the Against All Odds watch along. And as I mentioned, be sure to join us. This is caffeine. Be sure to join us for the post-show reaction stream. Right, let's get into the matches. Because I've nearly choked and I've nearly just sort of stumbled on my words already. So it's going to be a long one. It's going to be a real long one tonight. Let's start off Jordynne Grace versus Tenille Dashwood. Now, I mentioned before, I did a predictions video today. So if you haven't seen it, well, I'm kind of just going to repeat myself here. But hey, if you haven't seen it, this is the right time to tune in. Tenille Dashwood versus Jordynne Grace. This is all about Tenille Dashwood's search for a tag team partner. I always find it strange with Tenille Dashwood in that this is someone who's, I mean, really talented, really talented, and yet hasn't ever been a Knockouts champion. I just find that crazy, realistically. I know she took a ton of time off because of the pandemic last year. Don't blame her. But I just find that odd. You know, she's always there and thereabouts, but never been the Knockouts champion, which is crazy when you think about it. Maybe that shows the depth of the Impact Knockouts division. Anyway, I think Tenille Dashwood and Jordynne Grace, I'm feeling that Tenille Dashwood wins tonight, and I'm feeling that we're going to get a heel turn. Whether it's Jordynne Grace or Rachel Ellering, it's been teased for a while, hasn't it? It's been teased for a while that we were going to get some form of a heel turn. Money for me, if I was going to put money on it, and I'm not a gambling man, but it's against all odds, which I guess is a gambling theme here. But if I had to put money on it, I would say that Jordynne Grace is going to turn heel. I could see a situation where maybe she loses tonight, finally snaps, beats the hell out of her tag team partner, Rachel Ellering. That's what's been teased for a while. She's the weak link, which I don't really understand. I don't really understand of Jordynne Grace being perceived as the weak link, considering she's a former Knockouts champion, like last year. But she's now the weak link. You're the weak link, apart from when you were champion last year and you were beating everyone. Nevertheless, I think Tenille Dashwood wins this one. Andrew Pollard says, excited for Against All Odds tonight. Leiluch v Britannia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. My pronunciation of stuff, I will be honest, is horrific. Absolutely horrific. Says, Impact chose a bad day to do a pay-per-view. They are against UFC and the YouTube versus TikTok pay-per-view. I know there was a UFC show. I think, is that the Israel Adesanya fights? I've seen that in the periphery. You'll have to bear with me. The European Championships, Euro 2020, yes, Euro 2020, has started. So I've been just glued to my television and then doing videos and then going back to the television. By the way, this is non-pro wrestling related, but if you are a football fan, which you probably will know I am. I mean, I'm wearing a Manchester United hoodie at the moment. If you are a football fan, just thoughts and prayers to Christian Eriksen. Great to hear that he's awake, stable. He's been communicating with people. Some of the people might not be aware of what I'm talking about here, but the European Championships today, it was a game of Denmark versus Finland. Christian Eriksen collapsed with nobody essentially around him during the game. Looked like he'd had some kind of medical emergency. I don't really want to speculate on what it was, but he had CPR, defibrillation. It was honestly one of the most horrifying and scary things I have ever seen on live television. I think the coverage of it, you know, it was on BBC at the time. I know I'm really off the pro wrestling topic, and we will get back to it, but I think there might be some football fans in with us tonight. The coverage of it, basically, the BBC gets a live feed from those in Denmark, or it's just a UEFA global feed, and that feed, those camera people were zooming in on a guy who was getting CPR and defibrillation. I mean, he's having a medical emergency. I mean, if you're getting CPR or you're getting defibrillation, again, I don't want to speculate, but most likely your heart stopped. Right? We're talking about this far away from death. Thankfully, he looks to be on the mend. He was upright, stable, talking to people. The match restarted. It finished. It was just the most horrifying thing you've ever seen live on television. To watch it live, And I know I had some people say to me on social media, because I have a football account, Mr. Owen Churchill. Be sure to follow that on Twitter. I put on there that it was horrifying, and to the people that were zooming in and all that kind of stuff was horrible. And some people said, well, you decided to watch it. You were the one watching it on TV. You could have grabbed the remote. And it's kind of like, well, that's not the point. Someone is having a medical emergency. They were, for lack of a better term, dying in public in a stadium full of people, and people were zooming in. I mean, credit to the medical staff and the emergency personnel, credit to his teammates for surrounding him, all of this kind of stuff. It was just, again, one of the most horrible things I've ever seen in my life. It just makes you realize how quickly things can and can change split of a second. And I said it on Twitter, if you've got those members of your family or your friends or your loved ones or whatever that you don't maybe speak to that often, maybe today's the day to reach out and just touch base and see where they are. It was horrible, but it's just great to see that he's on the mend. Anyway, Dragonstorm1234, I see you for iFast with Bradley. Dragonstorm1234 says, so this show is caught against all odds, and AEW has a gambling theme. Seems like a good time for some possible crossovers. Yes, well, Double or Nothing was the other day. Darthor says it was scary looking. Dragonstorm1234 says, also do not expect England to win tomorrow. I'm assuming England would be your team. Your assumptions would be correct. England is my team. As far as England tomorrow, I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be negative. Nevertheless, anyway, let's move on. Tenille Dashwood is going to win this one, I think. We'll have to get through these predictions quickly because we're about 18 minutes or so before the event goes on the air. Number 1 contenders X Division Championship match. By the way, remember to let me know your predictions in the live chat as well. We'll read them out. The winner of this one obviously becomes the number 1 contender for the X Division Championship. I love the X Division at the moment in Impact Wrestling. Is that too strong a statement for me to say? Maybe. But I love the X Division at the moment. I love how serious it's being taken. There was a report recently, I think it came from PW Insider, that essentially said there is a movement within Impact Wrestling to make the X Division on par with the Impact World Championship. The analogy used was that they want it to be similar to how the ECW Television Championship was treated in the late 90s to 2000 when Rob Van Dam was the champion for over 700 days. And it got to a point where there wasn't that much disparity between the World Heavyweight Championship and the Television Championship. That's what they want to do with the X Division Championship. That's why they had the big 60-minute Iron Man match on Before the Impact and Impact the other week, because there is this movement to make it feel big, make it feel very, very important. And we've seen that this year. The booking of the X Division has been incredible, whether it's Iron Man matches, whether it's whatever. It's been fantastic, just fantastic. Fantastic booking of the championship. Absolutely fantastic booking of the championship. And it continues. It continues. Even though Josh Alexander isn't defending the X Division Championship, tonight we have this amazing match, a 5-way match with just some incredible athletes. Incredible athletes. Chris Bay, Trey Miguel, Pete Williams, Ace Austin, Rohit Raju. This is a really tough one to predict, so I would be fascinated to see. I would be fascinated to see all of your predictions in the live chats for this one. I really don't know. I really don't know. I think I went with Trey Miguel on the predictions video earlier. I can't even remember. I think I went with Trey Miguel. I'm going to stick with Trey Miguel to win this one, but it really could be anyone in this match. The only person I say it probably won't be is Ace Austin, because they've kind of done that. I think Trey Miguel, I could see Pete Williams as well, maybe. I do like the storyline of the Canadian Destroyer about, dropping on the head. I think that's interesting. But it's a tough one. It's a tough one to predict, this one. So I'm gonna go Trey Miguel, but that was difficult. Knockouts Tag Team Championships. This one's relatively straightforward, I think. I think Fire and Flavor retain here. Only just won the championships. I still think my big prediction, big prediction, hardly Nostradamus, but I think one of the things that is likely to happen for Slammiversary, I do think the Iconics are going to come to Impact. I know some people think AEW is a likely destination for them. I just don't see why. I can see people say, well, money, and I can see Sean Spears, obviously Peyton Royce. I just think if you're the Iconics and you're saying, we're going to be a tag team, we're going to be a tag team, we're going to be a tag team, surely go to a division or company where there's tag team championships, right? That's only logical. That makes the most sense to me, is that they would go to a company where they've actually got a women's tag team championship. Not many other companies, certainly in North America, have that. So I think Fire and Flavor retain here. I don't know how long Kimberly and Susan are going to be a thing. I think that obviously they've been teasing some dissension for a while as well. I think Susan needs to go, and we need to see the next iteration of whatever Su Young's going to be going forward, whether it's Su Young, Susie, or Susan. I think we need to see the next version of that. Maybe as we get closer to Slammiversary, we see that. So I think Fire and Flavor retain here. I think that one's relatively straightforward. Impact Tag Team Championship. We'll double check the live chat quickly. Franco Baron says, yes. Sorry, it's a scary accident. He says, Owen, question for you. Do you predict King of the Mountain match at next pay-per-view since Alexander kept repeating it after the Iron Man match? But it's a good point, isn't it? And considering the booking of the X Division, I could absolutely see that. And the King of the Mountain match was a staple of Slammiversary for several years in TNA Wrestling. Just as I was coming on to the stream, if you go on Impact Plus, they were playing like Greatest Championship Victories or something like that. And I was saying, this isn't even Slammiversary, but it was Mick Foley versus Sting from Lockdown 2009. And I remember, when I was watching that then, a thought came back into my mind when I went, I can't believe Mick Foley won the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, because my perception was that he was really old when it happened. Because Mick Foley, just the amount of damage the guy's been through, you just think he's old. Or he's looked old for ages. When he won the championship from Sting in 2009, he was only 44. I say only, but that's how old Bobby Lashley is right now. That's how old AJ Styles is right now. I think AJ Styles is 45. I think Lashley's 45. We've got Sting wrestling, who's 62 right now. And my perception at the time when Mick Foley won the championship in 2009 was, man, look at them giving it to another old-timer, which I guess is partially true, but still, he was 44. He just looked 100 years old, and he walked like 100 years old because he had been through 100 years worth of punishment on his body. So absolutely crazy. Darthor says Bay for the match at Slammiversary. Franco Baron says fantastic team. Darthor says they would only go to AEW if they announce women's tag belts. That's not going to happen now. I agree, Darthor. We've got Impact Tag Team Championships. I'm going to have to rush through these. I always do this before we start a stream, like a watch along. I say I'm going to do the predictions, and I just waffle on without getting to anything. Violent by Design defending against Decay. I think Violent by Design retain here. I think that one's, again, relatively straightforward. I would be stunned if the Decay won the championships here. Violent by Design have just won them. The whole point here is that Joe Doering's not defending it with Rhino. Deanna's way to redeem himself. So I think that Violent by Design win. I think that one's, again, relatively straightforward. I think the story is whenever Heath comes back, he challenges for the tag titles. As to when that's going to be, we don't know. He had surgery in March, I think it was, late February, March. He had to wait ages to find a surgeon that was willing to do 3 surgeries on him at once, because the injury that he had, the hernias, were that severe. So that's the situation when it comes to Heath. But I think Violent by Design retain here. Rich Swann versus W. Morrissey. I think W. Morrissey retains. I think W. Morrissey wins here. The reason I think W. Morrissey wins is because, one, he hasn't lost yet. They're booking him up this incredible dominant monster, and it doesn't make any sense for him to lose this early on. If you have a big dominating monster that comes in, 7 foot tall, you can't teach that. When they come in, it doesn't make sense for them to lose matches early on. You have to build them up. You have to win. You have to win. You have to win. You have to win. And then eventually the babyface that does beat them, usually the world champion, whenever they do beat them, it means more. So I think eventually we get to a point, I pitched it early in the predictions video, where if, say, Moose was the one to defeat Kenny Omega for the World Championship, not tonight, maybe at Slammiversary, if you build to maybe a Moose versus W. Morrissey match for the Impact World Championship, say at Bound for Glory in October as your main event, that feels pretty substantial, doesn't it? So I think W. Morrissey wins this one here. For Rich Swann, I don't really know what the situation was, Rich Swann. Again, I don't know what the situation is with his contract. I know his contract was expiring in May. I don't know if he's re-signed or not, because just because he's appearing doesn't necessarily mean he has. He could just agree per appearance still. My feeling is with Rich Swann is, why would he leave? Everywhere else he would go, he's not going to go back to WWE. He's not going to go to AEW. They didn't promote his match when he was the Impact World Champion. Could he go to Ring of Honor or MLW? He could, but he doesn't have the status in either of those companies that he does in Impact. It doesn't benefit him to leave, so why would he leave? So I don't see that happening. Moving on, Tag Team Street Fight. We have the Good Brothers facing Sami Callihan and Tommy Dreamer. This one's a bit more difficult to predict. I'm going to go with the Good Brothers, and my rationale for the Good Brothers winning this one is because they need to. I mean, pretty much the last 3 or 4 pay-per-view events they've lost. They lost at Under Siege, they lost at Rebellion, they lost at Sacrifice. I mean, they're 2 of the highest paid guys on the roster, 2 of the biggest stars on the Impact roster, and they lose most of the time. Now, one could argue it doesn't matter because they're bulletproof. Do you like that pun? But they're bulletproof. But I think they need a win. I know Sami Callihan's involved in the Slammiversary main event, so why would he lose? That's why Tommy Dreamer's in this match, because he's in the match to eat the pinfall, I think, in this one. So I think I can see the Good Brothers winning this one. And I guess the point is, well, if they're in Nashville, they can't get involved in the main event, right? Because the main event's in Jacksonville, Florida. So they can't get involved. Well, if they can't get involved, I'm pretty sure there's another tag team in Jacksonville that could. We'll wait on that one, if we can get to it before the show starts. Knockouts Championship, Deonna Purrazzo against Rosemary. Again, this one I think is relatively predictable. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it just means the outcome's relatively predictable. Deonna Purrazzo, I think, retains here. She doesn't drop the championship until Slammiversary at the earliest. And frankly, who on the Impact roster right now should take the championship off Deonna Purrazzo? I'd love for you to let me know in the live chat, because I can't think of anyone on the roster. Deonna Purrazzo is right up there. Right up there as being one of the best female wrestlers in the world right now. In the world. So why would you take the title off her? Why would you take the title off her? Triple H, of his comments, the best females work in WWE, or at least they want to work here. I think Deonna Purrazzo is the antithesis as to why that is not factually accurate. Okay, Deonna Purrazzo is one of the best female wrestlers in the world today. She doesn't want to work with WWE. She used to work there. She got fired. I don't think she wants to go back, and she's one of the best female performers in the world. That therefore makes Triple H's comment as false. And I have a lot to say about the Triple H comments. You can see it on the channel. I'm going to post it to Twitter as well. But it just... those comments. I mean, we'll get into it during the watch-along, I'm sure. But Deonna Purrazzo retains. We got Kojima versus Joe Doering. Very excited for this one, because we're going to see two guys just beat the tar out of each other. I mean, they're going to beat the hell out of each other. It's going to be, if you like that physical, stiff, rugged Japanese style, that is what you're getting, because you're getting two Japanese pro wrestling legends. You're getting Kojima, who is New Japan Pro Wrestling, All Japan Pro Wrestling legend. You're getting Joe Doering, who is an All Japan Pro Wrestling legend as well. These guys have got history, and they're going to beat the crap out of each other. In an empty arena, we're going to hear every single shot. We're going to hear every single forearm, every single chop. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be violent. It's difficult to predict. And I'm going to go with Joe Doering. I know some people would say, well, Kojima's a legendary figure. He's not going to come over just to do jobs. I get that. But kind of the pattern that we're seeing at the moment is that these Japanese guys from New Japan, when they're coming over, of course, they're only doing limited shots. Does it benefit really Joe Doering to lose here? I suppose it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Look, if Kojima wins, I don't think people really care that much. But Joe Doering he's a big heater. He's violent by design's muscle. He's the heavy. Does it really... I'm not really sure the guy should be losing. I'm not really sure the guy should be losing, especially to a guy that's not going to be here in a couple of weeks' time. Now, I know it's Kojima. I know he's a legend, all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to say Joe Doering wins, because I think it puts over Violent by Design even more, which is what really Impact should be looking to do, should they not? This is the big faction in Impact Wrestling right now, so they should be looking to continually put the faction over, and that's by having Joe Doering win. Finally, the World Championship is taking place inside Daly's place. It's not going to be taking place inside Skyways Studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It's going to be taking place inside Daly's place in Jacksonville, home of AEW. It's the Impact and AEW World Champion Kenny Omega defending against Moose. This one's, I mean, first of all, it's going to be a very good match. No doubt about that. It's going to be a very good match. Location, being inside Daly's place, very exciting. Very excited to see that. I think Kenny Omega leaves against all odds the Impact World Champion. I don't see a situation why Kenny Omega would drop the Impact World Championship when the next event you're going to do next month is going to be the return of live fans. It's going to be your biggest pay-per-view event of the year, arguably your biggest pay-per-view event since Anthem purchased the company. They broke that record earlier this year with Kenny Omega in the main event against Rich Swann. I think at Slammiversary, with Kenny Omega in the main event, with live fans returning, with former WWE stars coming in, with former Impact stars coming in, with New Japan stars coming in, they could break that record once again. I don't know if they break that record if Kenny Omega drops the championship tonight to Moose. So I don't think Kenny Omega loses the Impact World Championship tonight. I don't know if Kenny Omega pins Moose tonight. I could see a situation. It's in Jacksonville. Smoke and mirrors. As I mentioned, the Good Brothers are tied up in Nashville, but there are other people in Jacksonville from AEW that could get involved that are associated with Kenny Omega, namely the Young Bucks. I could see a situation whereby Moose maybe has the match won. It looks like he has the match won, and then the Young Bucks get involved, either allowing Kenny Omega to defeat Moose or And I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm usually just not an advocate for this, but I think this might be the right decision here. We could see a situation here whereby the Young Bucks get involved and it's a disqualification or it's a screwy finish, it's a no contest, whatever. This then leads to Kenny Omega versus Moose versus Sami Callihan, Slammiversary. That's your main event for the Impact World Championship. I think that's the most likely situation, and maybe it leads to a Young Bucks match at Slammiversary. That would be interesting. Who they face off against, I don't know. You can let me know in the live chat. So there's certainly, this is the one that obviously everyone's tuning in for, but it's very exciting, and I'm very excited. I actually managed to get through the predictions. There you go. We got some live comments as well. I'll just make sure I get Impact Plus up so I make sure that I don't miss the start of it, because that would be typical me. They've got a Frankie Kazarian. Who's he facing off against? Is that Chris Sabin? Looks like Chris Sabin. In the live feed on Impact Plus there. Anyway, let's double check the live chat. It says here, Graham Caldwell says, I agree with you about the Iconics. I can see them coming to Impact and possibly forming a stable with Tenille Dashwood. That certainly has been rumoured. Dragonstorm1234 says Taylor Wilde, not until Bound for Glory, though. Obviously, that's referring to who could beat Deonna Purrazzo. Darthor says, the night Impact gets the world title back, Bound for Glory, is the night they lose the Women's Championship to Baker. Graham Caldwell says the next Knockouts champion has to be either Su Yung or a potential new recruit in Chelsea Green. That's definitely a possibility. She's already in talks with Impact Wrestling, who I think will return at Slammiversary, but wins it later on in the year. Graham Nichols says England needs to replace Southgate and appoint Steve Bruce. Oh, Graham. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that. Steve Bruce. I'm pretty sure there'll be some Geordies that disagree. But, I mean, I'm not the biggest Southgate guy either, but Steve Bruce. Gosh. Darthor says, only one match for the Bucks, Motor City. That's a good point. That's what I mentioned in the preview video I did earlier. Thank you for jogging my memory, Darthor. That's the one I said, yes. The Bucks versus, or Generation Me versus the Motor City Machine Guns. That was the Bucks' favorite match from their time in TNA Wrestling back in 2010, 2011 was Generation Me versus the Motor City Machine Guns. Of course, we haven't seen Alex Shelley until the build to Hard to Kill. He's a frontline worker. And at the time, there was a situation where he worked to change their policy on terms of going places without being vaccinated, all that kind of stuff. We now know that that's probably changed. I think Alex Shelley has been vaccinated as well. So hopefully he would be able to wrestle at Slammiversary. And, you know, the Bucks versus the Motor City Machine Guns, even in 2021, is a really, really exciting match. So I agree. I think that might be the match that they come in for. Maybe they put the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line as well. That would certainly make the event feel bigger too. So I agree on that one. That's the one I am looking excited. I'm excited for that one. We're just under 2 minutes away from Against All Odds going on the air. Be sure to smash a like on the video as well. It goes into people's recommendation feed so they can join us and watch Against All Odds with us. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, you click the notification bell. You'll be notified when we go live for the post-show reaction stream later tonight and when we go live for the NXT TakeOver in your house watch along and post-show reaction stream tomorrow night as well. We also do daily videos talking about WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling as well. So if you subscribe, you don't miss a single thing. Super chats are also open. You can click the dollar sign. Dollar sign is the best way to contribute to the channel and support the channel. It's very much appreciated. We are something like, as I mentioned earlier, about 80 subscribers away from 4,000, which is obviously huge, huge landmark. So if we can get to that, probably not tonight. That's probably shooting too high. But if we get to that by the end of the weekend, that is amazing. That would be amazing. I really appreciate all you guys' support. It's amazing. And I love doing these Impact watch-alongs. We have a great turnout all the time. There is such a great Impact fan base here on YouTube, especially in this community. Our community on this channel is so great. We have so much fun in these watch-alongs and post-show reaction streams. And it's all about opinion, guys. That's what it is, all about opinion. Graham Caldwell says at Darthor, that's a great shout, exactly. Triple H, thanks for joining us, Hannah. I feel privileged. Says, can't wait for fans to return next month. Darthor says, do they have AEW wrestler fans for Moose versus Omega? I don't know the answer to that one. I don't know the answer to that one. My feeling says no. My gut says no, but time will only tell. Time will only tell. Again, the wrestlers didn't seem to be aware from it from the Impact point of view. So my gut says no, but I don't. To be honest, I'm not sure in the grand scheme of things if it necessarily matters too much, right? We're about 10 seconds away from Against All Odds going on the air. It's exciting times, guys. I've got the energy drink with me tonight, so I guess I'm just not going to sleep because caffeine. That's how. This is a little tip, guys. That's basically how. If you're a pro wrestling fan, if you're from the UK here on the live chat, you can let me know if you are. But if you're from the UK and you're a pro wrestling fan, basically you just have a lot of caffeine in you because some of these hours are brutal. Especially if you then have to wake up early the next day. It's horrific. It's horrific. But we're just about going live for Against All Odds. Very exciting. Let's do a quick subscriber check before we start. Yes, so we're on 3,920. So 80 subscribers exactly. So Against All Odds is starting. We're seeing a recap package with Kenny Omega when he won the AEW World Championship at the Winter is Coming edition of Dynamite, when he defeated Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley, who I think is on paternity leave at this point, right? And this is when the War of Worlds officially was declared, where the Impact Wrestling and AEW working relationship officially began. The days where you had the Kenny Omega tour bus in the parking lots of the Impact Zone. Kenny Omega defeating Rich Swann back at Hard to Kill as part of that 6-man tag team match. And we see the title versus title match at Impact Rebellion. How'd you say that? Joker? Joker. I'm going to call you Joker. Says, was the Omega Moose match taped? Yes, it was. Taped about a week ago. Graham Caldwell says, Owen, do you think any of the released male superstars from WWE would consider joining Impact, or would they be thinking AEW, the likes of Murphy, Black, or Joe? Well, Samoa Joe might be going back to WWE, unfortunately. There is rumors he is set to go back to NXT. He was even spotted at the Performance Center this week with Samoa Joe. Doesn't mean anything, doesn't confirm anything, but Samoa Joe, there are reports from Fightful Select reported this. There is a feeling from certain NXT talent that Samoa Joe is going back to WWE and he's going to NXT. Furthermore, there have been reported sightings of Samoa Joe at the WWE Performance Center this week. Now, is that factually accurate? Are they just saying that? Are they just releasing that information to make us watch NXT TakeOver in your house tomorrow? I don't know. I would find it really surprising that Joe would be fired. The reason he was fired by WWE is because he wanted to be a wrestler. They wouldn't clear him. A couple of weeks later, they decide to clear him, but he has to go back to NXT and doesn't compete on the main roster, considering they need stars on the main roster. Don't really get that one. But looks like the first match is going to be this tag team street fight. Wow. Didn't see that one coming. Here come Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. Interesting. I wasn't feeling that one's going to start. I was going to say Jordan Grace or Tenille Dashwood or something like that. But they're starting off hot. I guess the question would now be trying to think of some shenanigans here. How far is it from Nashville to Florida? Let's check. Because obviously they would have taped these, but I guess in terms of logic, could they pull off? Could they say that they opened the show and then by the end of it, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, they could potentially get there? Like, how long does it take to fly? Let's do this. Nashville to Jacksonville. It doesn't say how long a flight is. It says it's an 8-hour drive. It's nearly as long as a WrestleMania. Well, if you want to do the research yourself, because I don't know if they're going to try and imply that because they wrestled the first match they could get to Jacksonville. I hope they don't do that. That would be really lame. Here comes Tommy Dreamer. I've got a bad feeling now that they could do a thing where they say the Good Brothers were in the opening match of the show and therefore they could get to Jacksonville by the end of the pay-per-view. I really hope they don't do that. That would suck. I would much rather have the Young Bucks get involved. Because in reality, if you're Scott D'Amore, and I know I'm sort of working myself up when nothing's happened yet, but in reality, if you're Scott D'Amore, and the reason you had it in Daly's place was to make sure there was no interference from the Good Brothers or anything like that, why would you then put the Good Brothers on first during the show? Darthor says they did that with Kenny on Impact and it took him 2 hours. JPF says 8-hour drive is like a 2-hour flight. I mean, have we figured this one out already, guys? Because I hope not. Sami Callihan's up on the apron. Of course, he's going to be in the main event of Slammiversary. I guess a positive for you guys. I mean, it depends if you're listening to the commentary or not. If you're just listening to what I'm talking about as we go through this watch along, a positive for you guys is you don't have to listen to Josh Matthews, which is fun. This is lucky for you. I don't hate Josh Matthews or anything like that. To be honest, I'm more indifferent on him than I think quite a few people are on social media. Some people on social media can't stand him. He's certainly a heel. I don't think he's awful. I prefer Matt Striker, but of course Matt Striker is not on Impact Television at the moment. He's attending to some personal matters. He is going to be back hopefully soon. Not a moment too soon, I must say. Hunter Hunter says, what's up, Mr. Wrestling 365 News? What's up, Hunter Hunter? JPF says, just looked, a 1 hour, 35-minute flight. So theoretically, guys, we could see a situation where the Good Brothers have this first match and then they show up in the main event because they then got on Don Callis' private jet or Tony Khan's private jet. It's not out of the realm of possibility at all. Darthor says, do you think Sami is replacing Eddie at Slammiversary due to his surgery? I think Eddie Edwards was absolutely a possibility. I really do. But in fairness, the Sami Callihan angle was shot at Under Siege, and that was before Eddie Edwards had the appendicitis. But the match is underway. Sami Callihan's now brought him with Kyle Anderson on the outside. A rake to the back by Sami Callihan. Doc Gallows is with Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer, who of course is on the creative team for Impact Wrestling. He's a producer as well. Some of you guys have said that you think he should replace Don Callis as one of the executive vice presidents of Impact Wrestling. Time will only tell if that happens. But Sami Callihan's just attacking Doc Gallows with a steel chair there. And Tommy Dreamer's biting Carl Anderson. I'm excited to see what weapons are involved in. Of course, it's a street fight, so anything goes. All weapons are legal. Pinfall does have to take place in the ring and submission. There is a ring bell out. There is a baseball bat, of course, from Sami Callihan. There's a ring bell in the ring. There is a... Is that a broomstick? From Sami Callihan. Oof. Sami Callihan just smashes Doc Gallows' face into the steel chair. Graham Coldwell says, Owen, do you do streams for all Impact pay-per-views? There's not many who do. I'm a fan of Impact, and I don't think it gets enough coverage because it maybe doesn't have the star names. I do. Yes, we do streams for all Impact Plus events, all Impact pay-per-views. We do daily Impact videos as well as WWE, AEW. We cover it all here on the channel. Drop toe hold by Doc Gallows to Sami Callihan onto the steel chair there. In the ring, it's Tommy Dreamer with Carl Anderson. Gosh, it's going to be great when fans are back at Slammiversary next month, isn't it? Interesting how many fans are actually going to be in there. It is going to be still at Skyways Studios in Nashville, Tennessee. A very select few fans. Those tickets did cost a pretty penny. $250 per ticket. But I guess they're all ringside tickets, right? Plus, you get a ton of other stuff. You get all of this. You get free soda. So I would, if that was me, I would go there and drink $250 worth of soda. I think there's food there. I'd be going to that buffet just all day. I'd be wearing out the rubber on my soles, honestly. I'd just be going and going. I mean, I do that anyway, but let alone for $250. That's like going to a Domino's buffet or whatever. You would, or Pizza Hut buffet rather, and you would keep going. $250, you would not stop. Tommy Dreamer and Sami Callihan, they're going backstage. Don't know where they're going. Maybe they're getting the Good Brothers flight all ready for them. So the Good Brothers are kind of just wandering around on the outside. I don't know where... I don't know what they're going to come out with. Are they coming out with garbage cans? Garbage cans, cookie sheets, the extreme plunder you would associate with Tommy Dreamer and Sami Callihan, they are bringing. Which you just have to expect for these guys. Par for the course, right? Darthor says 200 would be great. Packed Entertainment says also they get VIP. Also, hey everyone, they do. They get a photograph with the X Division Championship. What is that? Sami Callihan putting a cookie sheet in someone's mouth? Gosh. So we got kendo sticks in the ring. We got garbage cans. Sami Callihan's going to get a garbage can and just throws it at Carl Anderson. Tommy Dreamer's got Carl Anderson on the outside now. Oh, Dreamer. Oh, does the nut shot on the guardrail. Tommy Dreamer, poor guy. I mean, how many times has he had that over the year? His groin must be just... Oh, I don't even want to go into it, just in case it gets clipped, to be honest. There is a steel chain that Doc Gallows has. Chained to the head of Sami Callihan. Is Callihan going to get color in the opening match? Could you imagine? Tommy Dreamer is still caught up on that guardrail. Poor guy. Oof, Tommy Dreamer goes into the steel ring post. Doc Gallows has got... Is that a frying pan? Oh, Sami Callihan's wrapped the chain around Doc Gallows' ankle. It's probably got him. It's hogtied him. And Callihan, bang, smashes the garbage can across the ankles of Doc Gallows. Mikey MC says, hi, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. JPF said, heard it was somewhere between 60 to 100 fans. That's interesting. If it been 60 to 100 fans, look, that's obviously not a lot of people in the grand scheme of things, but in an enclosed space like that, it's more than enough to make noise. That's all you want. You want noise, you want atmosphere. And if they can deliver that at Slammiversary, it's going to be great. I mean, let's face it, after months and months, over a year, it was something like, how long is it? Like 18 months? Something like that. After that long of having 0 fans, having 200, well, 60 or 100, gosh, that would feel like 100,000 inside AT&T Stadium. Dreamer just getting thrown into a steel chair that's being wedged in between the top and second rope there. Oof, Doc Gallows with a trash can lid to Sami Callihan on the outside. Carl Anderson's telling everyone about how hardcore he is. Want him to be careful what he says. I'll be getting some more phone calls late at night. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. Too far. Carl Anderson's got a cookie sheet, smashes off the head of Tommy Dreamer. You know what is funny about those cookie sheets is because you would think, oh, cookie sheets to the head, can we not be doing those, concussion, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you've ever got one of those cookie sheets in like food tech, or what do they call it in the United States? Home economics, is that what they call it? Oh, Carl Anderson, a bit of karate kick to the face. That was nice. Yeah, if you get one of those cookie sheets, you get in, like, we call it over here food tech or home economics, you realize how thin they are. And when you realize how thin they are and that you could literally just squash it in your hand, it's like foil. I used to all the time in home economics just go around and smash my friends over the head with them. It's great because it sounds amazing. It sounds amazing. You smash them over and it bends. Or I'd get my mates to do it to me and you'd probably, like, sell it. You'd be like, oh, do it again. Oh. Do the Ric Flair scream. Oh, Carl Anderson hits a cutter to Sami Callihan. All that time as well, you're meant to be cooking something like muffins or whatever. I'm hitting my friends with cookie sheets, thinking I'm Tommy Dreamer. Oh, cutter by Tommy Dreamer. Doc Gallows goes for a kick, misses. Dreamer DDT. Goes for a cover. Carl Anderson breaks it up. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, 80 subscribers away from 4,000. Smash a like on the like button as well if you're enjoying Against All Odds. Goes for another DDT. Tommy Dreamer thrown into the corner. Boot up to Carl Anderson. Carl Anderson, beautiful spine buster. Goes for a cover again. And Callihan, oof. Callihan breaks it up by pushing the referee. Smart by Callihan. It's a street fight, right? Anything goes, no disqualifications. Clothesline by Callihan into the corner. Goes after Doc Gallows, right hand. Splash in the corner. Oof. Super kick by Doc Gallows. Doc Gallows says, let's get the tables. Who do you think he is? Bubba Ray Dudley? If there's any elderly woman around, I'd be careful, because if he's embracing full Bubba, then I wouldn't want to be looking like Mae Young around there. I mean, just in general, you wouldn't, but tables in the ring, though. It's been a fun opener so far. Street fights, I mean, they're always fun. I mean, it's gratuitous violence. Sometimes not a lot of psychology to it, but they're always fun, aren't they? So who's going to be going through the table? I think it's going to be Tommy Dreamer. If you want to go full Dudley, set it on fire. We want fire. Tommy Dreamer's been through enough burning tables in his career, hasn't he? One Night Stand, 2005, you remember that? How could you forget? What an event. Oh, Carl Anson's going to the top rope. Tommy Dreamer cuts him off at the pass. I'm not sure what Dreamer's got in mind here. Are we thinking superplex through the table? I always think with a superplex, like in that building, I mean, it's a small building. I mean, realistically, your feet could touch the top, right? Carl Anson's biting Tommy Dreamer again. Second bite we've seen in this one. Oh, Dreamer's counters. He's got Carl Anson. Oh, he's going to go for a Dreamer driver. But Doc Gallows cuts him off at the pass. Oh, Magic Killer. Maybe through the table. Magic Killer. Bang. Magic Killer through the table to Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer's doing the old leg quiver. This should be it. 1, 2. Oh, broken up by Sami Callihan. Magic Killer through the table. I tell you what, it wasn't the best Magic Killer I've ever seen. It was kind of just a Magic Killer, just to drop him. I wasn't sure about that one. Magic Killer, yeah, a bit through the table. Graham Colroy says, has there been any updates on the Authors of Pain since their release? I think they could build themselves back in Impact. I think Impact needs more male and female tag teams. There was a rumor that they were retired. That was reported by, oh, baseball bat to the face of Doc Gallows. Man, that's it. Is he going to go for it again on Carl Anson? Bang, baseball bat to the face. This might be it. 1, 2, 3. Carl Anson eating so many pinfalls in Impact Wrestling at the moment. Callahan and Tommy Dreamer get the victory. I was wrong. I was wrong on this one. Sami Callihan and Tommy Dreamer get the victory. The Good Brothers lose again. My gosh. Now, obviously, it makes sense that Sami Callihan, you know, gets a victory, builds up momentum, going to Slammiversary. He is the #1 contender for the Impact World Championship. But, my oh my, Carl Anson is one of the highest paid jobbers on the Impact Wrestling roster at this point. How many losses is this in a row for him? They lost at Sacrifice. They lost at Rebellion. They lost at Under Siege. Now they lost at Against All Odds. The Good Brothers, considering the contracts that they're on, man, they just lose and lose and lose and lose. Fun opener, though. Callahan gets the victory. Pins Carl Anderson. Enjoyed it, but surprised at that outcome. You can let me know what you think in the live chat about that one. Man. Darthor says, what? Good Brothers contract up at Slammiversary. They're going to AEW. I mean, their contracts actually, no, they've got a year left on their deals. They signed 2-year deals with Impact Wrestling, so they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere, but Carl Anson losing every... Well, Good Brothers just, in general, losing every time. I mean, since Sacrifice, they just lost Sacrifice, lost Rebellion, lost Under Siege, lost Against All Odds. Tommy Dreamer selling some look of concern about Sami Callihan. I would be concerned. I mean, you know, he's a baseball bat guy. Sonny Bimbo says, how do you sell a bat to the face? I don't know. Don't get back up. Lalouche v. Britannia says, I hate the Good Brothers. Can't stand him. Not a fan of the Good Brothers. I'm just surprised that they're losing all the time, man. These are guys that arrived to much fanfare last year. You know, hot free agent signings, huge stars in New Japan, even before going to WWE, massive stars, and they lose yet again. Very surprising. Very surprising. Oh, we see D'Lo Brown with Josh Matthews. I mean, the reason I predicted the Good Brothers to win this one tonight was purely based off of they keep losing. They don't stop losing, and yet again they lost again tonight. I find that so strange. I find that so odd. And especially, like I said, it's not a case of, like Darth Thor said, it's not a case of, wow, you know, they're going to be leaving soon, because they're not. When they signed with Impact Wrestling last year, they signed 2-year contracts, and they're only a year in. Not even a year in at this point. They'll be a year in come Slammiversary. So to have what? I mean, Sacrifice, Rebellion, Under Siege, and now against all odds. 4 pay-per-view losses in a row. I mean, Carl Anderson, I mean, it's not as if Doc Gallows is eating the pinfalls here. It's Carl Anderson, but he's just eating pinfalls at the moment. Like I said, highest paid jobbers on the roster at this point. I find that staggering, absolutely staggering. So, interesting. Byron Briscoe says, need interpromotional matches with AEW, Impact, CMLL, Ring of Honor, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Graham Caldwell says, just hit the like and subscribe buttons. Owen, love your enthusiasm for Impact Wrestling. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you, Graham. You can join Graham, smash a like on the like button, hit a subscribe as well. We're about 80 subscribers away from 4,000. Lelouch says they're overhyped. C Nation Dog says, Owen, at least the Good Brothers beat Moose and Sami Callihan. Well, they lose. That's all they're doing is lose. Darthor says, I thought it was 29 when they signed. No, it's 2020. Well, this one's going to be a lot of fun coming up next. It's Kojima versus Joe Doering. Hoo-hoo. This one's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see 2 guys beat the hell out of each other. Joe Doering, Kojima. Here comes Joe Doering with his cowboy hat. And, I mean, we know Moose is in the main event. Looks like Joe Doering is wearing a Moose in terms of his jacket here. Darthor says 2020 was too long. It was. 2020, this is an unknown fact. 2020 was actually about 500 years in length. Strange, isn't it? But no, they did indeed sign not even a year ago. So they've got another year left. Packed Entertainment says, love your Impact Wrestling videos. Stay being great. Well, I appreciate that, Packed Entertainment. As I mentioned, we do daily Impact videos. Glad you guys enjoy them. That's why we do them. We love talking about all wrestling here. There's no bias. There's no bias to WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling. We talk about pro wrestling, what we like, what we don't like. It's all about opinion here, and it's no judgment on anyone's opinion. It's just about constructive conversation. That's what we like here on Wrestle News 365. Here comes Kojima. Kojima being accompanied by Eddie Edwards. I guess this is Eddie Edwards with his appendix. This is Eddie Edwards prior to having appendicitis surgery, which he did, I guess, right after these TV tapings. He had the appendicitis. Maybe that's why he's not wrestling here, is because he legitimately had, wasn't feeling great or had appendicitis, and then he had the surgery. But yes, Eddie Edwards did have surgery a couple of weeks ago. There is hope that he will be back for Slammiversary, but he did have his appendix removed. I don't know if anyone else has had that here. I haven't. I still have my appendix intact, but I know people that have had their appendix removed, and it, by all accounts, is not fun. C Nation Dog says, Owen, is Eric Young one half of the Impact Tag Team Champions under the Freebird rule? I think so. Packed Entertainment says, I wonder if there'll be any mystery debuts or returns tonight. Probably not tonight. The only one could be in the main event. The main event, we could see a possible AEW cameo. We might see the Good Brothers show up. They might be on the flight to Jacksonville at this point, even though they'll probably lose if they go there as well. But Kojima and Joe Doering start off this one. Collar and elbow tie-up, jockeying for leverage. And these guys are 2 legends of Japan. 2 former All Japan Triple Crown champions. I won't pretend that I'm, this huge Japanese pro wrestling expert, because I'm not. But this is a match of 2 guys that are going to beat the absolute tar out of each other. Don't know if it's going to last necessarily long. I don't think we're going to get, Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat, WrestleMania 3 here. Kojima looking to do shoulder tackles. Joe Doering isn't budging. Now he does. Takes a bump. Packed Entertainment says, do you know what happened to Ken Shamrock and James Storm? I haven't seen them on Impact in a while. Are they still signed? James Storm had never signed a contract with Impact. He was working on a per taping, per appearance basis, so he never signed a contract anyway. Ken Shamrock, it's a good question. I don't know. I think he comes and goes, basically. Maybe he comes back for Slammiversary. Time will only tell. Maybe considering they're doing something with Sami Callihan, they could tie that in. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. I know that he's still affiliated with Impact. And if he's going to come back and go anywhere, it probably would be with Impact Wrestling as opposed to anywhere else. Joe Doering has now got the upper hand on Kojima. C Nation Dog says, Owen, who do you think will be the next Impact World Champion? I'm going to go with Moose, but not tonight. Slammiversary at the earliest. Joe Doering with a reverse elbow to the back of the neck of Kojima. And Doering just choking Kojima there. Doering with just straight right hands to Kojima. Bit of a, I mean, I was going to say a bit of a slow match, but realistically, what did I expect, right? Whips Kojima off the ropes, reverse elbow by Joe Doering. Kojima goes down. Doering now going for, there's a Boston Crab. Boston Crab by Doering. The face. I do love the faces that Joe Doering pulls. He full on, you know, goes for, it's like Popeye. Looks like Popeye, but, you know, who decided to stop eating spinach and drinking beer. Grabs Kojima by the throat. Still Joe Doering so far. Well, Kojima trying to fight back. JPF says, my appendix burst. It wasn't cool at all. It was, I was a machinist at the time working at a metal shop and couldn't go back to work for a month. Wasn't allowed to lift more than 20 pounds for a month also. That sounds nasty. Pact Entertainment says, was Steve Macklin under a short no-compete clause because he came in before Slammiversary? Steve Macklin was released by WWE in February. That's why he's able to sign now. He wasn't released with the rest of the talent in April. So he did have this standard 90-day non-compete clause, but because he was 2 months early, roughly, he debuts 2 months earlier than everyone else, or about 6 weeks or so. Graham Caldwell says, a major plus point of Impact is that their shows are sharp and to the point. In the main, their storylines are always well built and angles that can lead to new feuds. Pact Entertainment says your mic turned off. I think it's still working, isn't it? You can still hear me. At least it says I can. Joe Doering still working over Kojima here. Goes for a... Oof. iFast with Bradley is back. Appreciate you, my friend. Says, can't believe United Fan TV's comments got deleted. I didn't see them. Genuinely didn't see them. I would obviously have, you know, interacted. That's what we do here. But I did not see them. Really didn't. I'm assuming they would have probably have been some kind of innuendo, smutty word. But I didn't see them. Joe Doering charges in the corner. Kojima moves. And there's a big chop by Kojima. I was going for those machine gun chops by Kojima. Bang. Kojima, big forearm to Joe Doering in the corner as well. Kojima's firing up here. Kojima's going to the top. Oh, what an elbow drop. I look like it. That just looked like it sucked. Kojima just landed on him just like a sack of potatoes. God, that must have hurt. I mean, you know, like sometimes when you do an elbow drop, you comfortably land on someone. Kojima did not comfortably land on Joe Doering at all there. Oh, my God. That looked nasty. C Nation says, I see Rich Swann and Willie Mack being the next Impact Tag Team Champions. That's a possibility. Joe Doering with a spine buster to Kojima. Says it sucks TNA failed because a lot of people are not going to give Impact Wrestling a second chance. Well, that's the issue. Impact Wrestling, they've been building up their reputation for the last few years, haven't they? Darthor says, I fast. Where have you been? Slacking tonight. They were trying to steal my thunder. And I did not see. I don't touch the comments. I really don't. They got silenced indeed. But I'm not going to read that one. Joe Doring's working on Kojima on the outside. Match has started to pick up a bit of pace here. Certainly started off slow, but we've seen some big moves a couple of seconds in the last few minutes or so. Big right hand by Kojima there. Got to get back in the ring. It's a count of 8. Oh, Kojima just chops down Joe Doering. Referee's going after Doering, but Rhino now, big right hand to Kojima. What's he planning here? Rhino, he's whipped into the ring post by Kojima. Kojima's now back in the ring. Is he planning Kojima? DDT. DDT plants Joe Doering, goes for a cover. Doering kicks out. If you're enjoying Against All Odds, smash a like on the like button. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, super chats are also open. You can contribute by clicking the $sign. As Kojima is now going to go for a suplex, blocked by Joe Doering. Goes for it again, blocked once more. Kojima, Doering went for a suplex. Kojima floated over. Doering hits the ropes, goes for a lariat. Oh my God, what a crossbody by Joe Doering. This might be it. Kicks out. Ooh. Joe Doering with that crossbody, man. That was like one of those. I remember Mike Knox used to do a great crossbody like that. There was a clip of Mike Knox doing a crossbody on Rey Mysterio, but just about kills him. It was like that. Joe Doering's going for a powerbomb. Kojima floats through. Kick to the gut, counters. Big lariat to the back of the head by Kojima. Kojima now. What's he got? Hits a cutter. Cutter by Kojima. Kojima cutter on Joe Doering. Kojima can't really capitalize. He's not going to go for a pin, looks like. What's he going? Kojima's going to set up for a big lariat. Hits the ropes. Doering counters. Catches him on the shoulders. Death Valley driver. He's going to pick him up. He's going to hit a lariat of his own. Bang. Big lariat by Joe Doering. This might be it. 2. Kojima kicks out. I thought that was it. It popped me. False finish got me. Doering goes for a powerbomb. Spinning powerbomb. We nearly fell over. 1, 2, 3. Joe Doering gets the victory. That was a prediction that was right. Tick it off. I tell you what, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that quite a lot. The last 5 minutes or so were a lot of fun in that. I enjoyed the hell out of that match. A couple of great lariats, a couple of close near falls, power bombs. I think that lived up to expectations. That was as good as I thought it was going to be. That was a lot of fun. Joe Doering gets the victory. That elbow drop. That elbow drop just looks like it sucks. You see the spine buster from Joe Doering there on the replay. DDT. The thing is with Joe Doering is it just looks like everything he does just really hurts. He goes the Death Valley driver and the lariat he kicked out, which was a good spot. Then he does the twisting powerbomb, but Joe Doering literally looked like he fell over. But it's a twisting powerbomb, gets the victory, Joe Doering. That was fun. And it was the crossbody as well from Joe Doering. We just about killed him. I like watching Joe Doering wrestle. I think he's a lot of fun. But that was, enjoyed that one. Obviously, Violent by Design are going to be in action as well later on tonight, defending the Tag Team Championships, of course. I Faster Bradley says, all the chat about willies and rings. I can't get a whole comment read out. Crazy World. I Faster Bradley says, Owen, if I pay $1.99 super chat, will you say... No, I'm not going to say it. I'll check my accounting if that would be a sensible investment. Darth Thor says that elbow drop and crossbody nasty. C Nation says, fun fact, if Rich Swann wins the Impact Tag Team Championship with Willie Mack, he'll be the first person to hold world, second version of TNA Heavyweight Championship, X Division and Tag Team title. So we're in a backstage segment with the Decay. So I'm one for one in terms of predictions right now. I thought the Good Brothers were going to win. I was wrong. I am occasionally wrong here on the channel, guys. Joe Doering gets the victory, though. Predicted that one. You see the Decay doing their promo. But it looks like it's going to be the X Division Championship #1 contenders match that is next. This one's going to be a lot of fun. X Division, 5-way match. You like that? I fast with Bradley. I said 5-way. Kind of verges in your territory. Out comes Ace Austin with a Super X Cup tournament trophy. This one's a tough one to predict. I think I said Trey Miguel. I thought Trey Miguel was going to win this one, but I could see anyone win this one, frankly. Ace Austin has got his micro brawler in his Super X Cup tournament trophy as well. I mean, they're like gold dust. They sell out pretty quickly, don't they? Those micro brawlers. I see some other YouTubers, and they've got, like, you know, their pro wrestling figures and all that, and all their belts in the background. I got nothing. There's just me. I mean, I haven't got micro brawlers or title belts in the background. I got Vegas. This isn't a green screen. This is real. I'm actually up here. It's freezing up here, but this is what I do for the live stream. It's terrible. It's that kind of humor, guys, that I bring to the watch-alongs. Of the green screen behind me is real. Believe it. Chris Bay's making his way to the ring. Chris Bay versus Josh Alexander. That would be awesome. But I think Trey Miguel is going to win this one. But like I said, anyone's a good pick. Yeah, anyone. Here comes Rohit Raju. I think is he gonna have Shira with him? No. Packed Entertainment says, I have wrestling figures. I used to. I got rid of them. I Fast with Bradley says, imagine saying Willie 10 times an hour, but not saying the word he wants me to say. No, I Fast with Bradley. I will never give in to your demands. We do not negotiate here at Wrestle News 365 with I Fast with Bradley's. So here comes Pete Williams, of course, former X Division champion himself. X Division original, TNA original. Pete Williams, by the way, who refuses to age. I think he basically stopped aging about 10 years ago. He looks exactly the same. Graham Caldwell says, I think Pete Williams might win this. Set up a Canadian match with Josh Alexander, the old guard versus the new. I mentioned that earlier. I could see that happening. I think there's a story they could tell with the Canadian Destroyer and Josh Alexander's broken neck as well. Obviously, the Canadian Destroyer has just been so overused and destroyed over the years. Ironically, it's the Canadian Destroyer, but it's been so overused, and it was such an amazing and innovative move in its time and day. I mean, I remember the first time I saw the Canadian Destroyer, I think it would have actually been on YouTube, because back in the UK in like the early, mid-2000s when TNA first started, it was difficult to find TNA and all that kind of stuff. But I remember seeing a clip of the Canadian Destroyer. It might have been on AJ Styles, and it just blew my mind. I could not believe that move was actually possible. It was amazing. I do think there's a story they could tell in terms of having the Canadian Destroyer be done 3 times in a row on Josh Alexander. He had a broken neck before. So if he has they could say, oh, you did it 3 times in a row, you tried to break his neck again. Here's Trey Miguel, who's got into great shape, by the way, recently. He had to deny he was on... This is how crazy people are on social media, right? So Trey Miguel gets into good shape. I wouldn't say he's a guy who gets completely, jacked up. He wasn't ginormous. He's not any stretch of the imagination. He's not huge or anything. He just got in good shape. He leaned up a little bit, and he got a tan. And he had to deny he was on steroids because people were asking him if he was on steroids. It's like, dude, I mean, I no disrespect to the guy, but I don't look at Trey Miguel and straight away go, well, that's a guy that's on the juice. Hardly, He just got in better shape. He leaned up a bit. Bell has rung. Ace Austin goes straight to the outside or grabs Trey Miguel. Throws Trey Miguel into the guardrail. Oh, nasty. So Rohit is going after Pete Williams. Chris Bay is just, I guess, laughing in the corner. Standing switch. So this is one of those ones that every time we do the watch long, it's impossible to try and name some of the moves that are happening because they happen so quickly. it's not even worth trying to keep up. But we have Rohit, Petey Williams, and Chris Bay in the ring all at once right now. Trey Miguel and Ace Austin are still on the outside. David Valentine says Rohit versus Josh Alexander would be a slobber knocker, embracing his inner JR. Darth Thor says, if the title shot is on Impact, I see Trey. If it's at Slammiversary, I got Bay. That rhymes. That rhymes. A drop kick between the shoulder blades of Rohit by Petey Williams, followed by a body slam to Chris Bay. iFast Bradley says, Bow has rung. Unbelievable. These are the facts. Bulldog by Petey Williams to Rohit onto Chris Bay. And again, drop kick senton by Petey Williams. That was nice. What's Petey Williams going for now? So you've got only Petey Williams in the ring now. Chris Bay's on the outside. He's on the apron. Oh, hangs up Petey Williams over the top rope. Chris Bay's going to go for it. Or went for a step-in kind of roll-up. Rolls through head scissors by Chris Bay and a kip up and a step up enziguri. Whew. Said it's difficult to keep up. Gets a 2 count. And if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Smash a like on the like button too. Chris Bay with the stomps in the corner to Petey Williams. Stomp on a mud hole, walking it dry, as Steve Austin would say. Bay up and over the top. Oh, shoulder to the gut by Petey Williams. He's going to go in. Or went for a code breaker, but it's Ace Austin on the outside. Smashes Petey Williams' face onto the apron. Now it's Ace Austin and Chris Bay in the ring. And a kick to the shoulder blades by inevitable Ace Austin. Oklahoma roll. Gets a 2 count. Oh, knee to the face by Ace Austin. Man, now just throws Chris Bay to the outside. Ace Austin's unbelievable. This is a cartwheel. Jump floats over. I think we're going to see a dive. Trey Miguel dive to the outside. Lands it on his feet. Ace Austin's doing a one-armed handstand. But Trey Miguel hits a super kick to his arm. Trey Miguel did a dive to the outside on Rohit, Bay, and Petey Williams. Now it's just Trey Miguel and Ace Austin in the ring. I mean, it's difficult to keep up with, guys. Absolutely unbelievable. Oh, atomic drop. They're going to go for it again. Or Northern Light suplex. No bridge, though. Rolls through. Going for, it's just a sharpshooter here. Goes for a sharpshooter. Oh, he's changing it into, what's he going to go for? Oh, Chris Bay comes in. Sometimes you don't even know what they're going to do. It's that quick. It's that frenetic. So Trey Miguel's still got the submission in. Petey Williams is now, he's going to go for a sharpshooter of his own. Stereo sharpshooters. Now Petey Williams and Trey Miguel are trading forearms. It's constant. Well, 3,921, so 79 subscribers to go until 4,000. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Smash a like on the like button if you're enjoying Against All Odds and this #1 contender X Division Championship match. Winner faces the X Division champion Josh Alexander when we don't know. Either Impact or Slammiversary. All 5 guys are in the ring at the same time right now. That being Rohit, Trey Miguel, Chris Bay, Petey Williams, and Ace Austin. Oof. Rohit now going for forearm smashes into the corner onto Petey Williams and Trey Miguel. Miguel with a drop kick to Petey Williams. Oh, cannonball by Rohit in the corner onto Miguel and Petey Williams there. Oh, double stomp by Rohit. Just flapjacks Chris Bay onto Ace Austin. Desmond Podcast says, what up? What did I miss so far? So far you've missed the street fight in which Sami Callihan and Tommy Dreamer defeated the Good Brothers. He then just missed a real fun match with Kojima losing to Joe Doering. And now we're currently on the 5-way X Division #1 contenders match. Insert name 101. It says, what ratings would you give the first 2 matches? I don't really do ratings. I don't really do stars. The first match, I've enjoyed all the matches so far. I was surprised that the Good Brothers lost. I mean, I guess we shouldn't be surprised at this point because they lose at every pay-per-view. But I understand the necessity of having Sami Callihan win as he builds up momentum going into Slammiversary. I get that. They're losing all the time. The Kojima Joe Doering one, first 5 or so minutes was super, super slow, and I was thinking, this might be a bit of a blowout. I'm not sure on this one. But then the last 2 or 3 minutes were a lot of fun. Near falls, crossbodies, some brutal elbow drop, lariats. I enjoyed it. I think it was as good as it was ever going to be. And this one, these X Division matches are just so frenetic so quickly. So I hope that answers your question. Packed Entertainment says, where's Chris Sabin? Haven't seen him since the World Championship #1 contender match. It's a good question. I don't know. He may just not have been present at the last TV tapings. You have to remember, if, say, for whatever reason, he has an injury or possibly whatever, I don't want to speculate, but if he has a reason that he can't attend a TV taping over the course of 4 days, that means he's not going to be on television for a month. So we could be looking at a situation like that. He just couldn't attend the last TV tapings, therefore he wasn't on TV. Maybe he comes back at the next set, who knows. The BFG podcast. Anyone else having trouble with the Apple version of FITE? It appears to be down. Fortunately, I can still watch the TV version of the app as I have compatible TV with the app on it. Well, I'm watching on Impact Plus on desktop computer, so I'm not having any issues. But this is what I mentioned at the start of the stream. This is why sometimes you have to get the purchases in early or get your things set up, because FITE TV or Impact Plus, honestly, you never know. They are slightly unreliable, unfortunately. I mean, I always tell the story. Oh, running knee by Rohit onto Trey Miguel. In comes Chris Bay. I always tell the story of the first watch along I did on the channel. Actually, was Slammiversary last year, and I missed Heath's debut because FITE went down. That's just how that's all happens. Now Chris Bay's got Rohit up on his shoulders, torture rack into a reverse TKO almost. Chris Bay, oh, Rohit kicks out. Now Rohit's in the corner. Ace Austin's now going to go for a belly-to-back suplex. Floats over Chris Bay. Forearm into the face of Rohit. Oh, look at that kick just between the shoulder blades of Chris Bay. Ace Austin's he's an animal. Oh, double guillotine leg drop by Ace Austin to both Chris Bay and Rohit. And Chris Bay kicks out. Code breaker by Petey Williams onto Ace Austin. Oh, tilt-a-whirl into a Russian leg sweep. Now crucifix pinning combination by Petey Williams, but Ace Austin kicks out. Oh, version of a flatliner by Petey Williams there. He's setting up for Canadian Destroyer, the OG, the original. Is he going to hit the original version? Oh, Ace Austin pushes him into the corner. Clothesline. Oh, Petey Williams is he's on the top rope. I don't know what Ace Austin's got planned here. Probably something crazy. What's he thinking? Oh, what did he go for? Whatever he went for, he missed. Or kick to the head. Or did he count? I don't even know what that was. Ace Austin now, looks like he's going for a superplex maybe, or something from the top. Going for that wide base. Pete Williams not going though. Bizarre camera angle. I mean, they're like right up in their face. George Kenny says, this is outstanding. Was going to ask how you were watching. Question answered. Thanks. There you go. No, is he going to go for Canadian Destroyer? Oh, my God. Avalanche Canadian Destroyer by Pete Williams on Ace Austin. This is going to be it. 1, 2. Trey Miguel breaks it up. Trey breaks it up. The match continues. Trey Miguel, off. Combination. Neck breaker. You can see this avalanche Canadian destroyer from the top rope onto ASOS, and that was nasty. If it's for Trey Miguel, it's over. Trey Miguel's going to the top rope now. I say it's Madman Fulton. Madman Fulton's appeared. Trey Miguel says, "Oh my gosh!" Trey Miguel's head hit the ring apron. So Madman Fulton's getting involved here. Obviously, there's no disqualifications, I don't think. Fulton's chasing off the referee. Well, actually, do you know what I'm just thinking here? We mentioned King of the Mountain earlier. What if 5 add 1 more Josh Alexander? What, that becomes 6. What if it's a 6-man King of the Mountain match for the X Division Championship at Slammiversary? If this is a no contest, maybe everyone becomes a #1 contender, right? That could lead to a King of the Mountain match. Madman Fulton, he's trying to do a slam. Trey Miguel's just holding on. Rohit and Petey Williams now going after Madman Fulton. Chris Bay, he went for a senton and Madman Fulton just hangs him on. Fulton refuses to go down. What the hell? He just took out everyone. He hit a choke slam to Pete Williams and Rohit, hit a body slam on Trey Miguel, and hit a powerbomb on Chris Bay, all at the same time. What's going on? And Madman Fulton's going to get Ace Austin to pin Rohit and Trey Miguel, it looks like. The referee saying it's a no contest. Referee's waving it off. No contest, as I mentioned. So if that means there's 5 #1 contenders, if that's 5 #1, because I get on camera, if that's 5 #1 contenders, add 1, that is 6. If there's 6 people involved in one match, that could be a King of the Mountain. I think we might be seeing a King of the Mountain match for the X Division Championship. Josh Alexander versus Chris Bay versus Trey Miguel versus Petey Williams versus Ace Austin versus Rohit Raju. Book it for Slammiversary. I think that's what we could be seeing at this point. So it's a no contest. Referees waved it off after Madman Fulton just destroyed everyone. So we don't have a #1 contender, but I think we're going towards a King of the Mountain match at Slammiversary for the X Division Championship, considering we now have 5 #1 contenders, right? Madman Fulton says Ace Austin won, and that's what matters. Well, he hasn't, but sure. So we're seeing the Slammiversary teaser once again. Obviously, we're going to probably see the teasers of these names that Impact keeps teasing from WWE. Former WWE stars, former Impact stars. Samoa Joe, Bullet Club, Okada, Laurel Van Ness, Iconics, Mickey James. They all get teased there for a second. Saturday, July 17, Slammiversary. Of course, we will be doing a Slammiversary watch-along. We have to. As we see another image of Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida for the main event. Darth Thor says, bad ending, but I feel like it leads to King of the Mountain match. That's great. I agree. Usually, I'm not a fan of no contests. I'm not a fan of double disqualifications, countouts, you name it. But I really now see a situation where the X Division Championship is defended at Slammiversary in a King of the Mountain match, because you have 5 #1 contenders. Add in Josh Alexander. He mentioned Josh Alexander in a promo the other day. If that's the case, I will take a no contest. We have Rich One, W. Morrissey coming up next. Here comes W. Morrissey. Henry says, do you see Willie Mack turning on Rich? No, I don't. I think they mentioned earlier, I could see them becoming a tag team going after the tag team championship. I Fast with Bradley's still trying to get me. And the best thing is that he's going with a WCW reference. When they closed down in 2001, they closed down 20 years ago. Your references are outdated, I Fast with Bradley. Come on. W. Morrissey's in the ring. He's a giant man. And here comes Rich Swann. So my prediction was for this one is that Morrissey is going to defeat Rich Swann. I'm still gonna go with that one. Oh, these are lights. I thought for a second Rich Swann had like luminescent wrist tape on or luminescent like knee pads. But of course, Rich Swann's a former Impact World Champion. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner, smash a like on the like button too. We're under 80 subscribers away from 4,000. So let's see if we can get that to 4,000 by the end of tomorrow's post-show reaction stream for NXT TakeOver in Your House, which we will be doing a watch-along and post-show for NXT TakeOver in Your House tomorrow. So be sure to check that out too. Packed Entertainment says, I wonder if Enzo Amore will debut to help Morrissey tonight when Willie Mack and Rich Swann outnumber him. I Faster Bradley says, I'm very old despite how I act. I mean, the WCW reference was telling. It was like rings in a tree. You know when you cut a tree in half and you count the ring out, see how old they are. That's what they say, right? There we go. Bow's been rung, which obviously I Faster Bradley will love. Morrissey's just throwing Rich Swann over the top rope like he was nothing. Morrissey is jacked to the gills. Morrissey just not going for the ring gear, just going for just jeans at this point. Ducks the clothesline, and now Rich Swann going for the kicks to the hamstring. Morrissey just doesn't sell it. He's waiting for Rich Swann to bounce back, and a bit clunky there. Or kick to the head, Morrissey. To be honest, you have to appreciate Morrissey for wrestling in jeans and, what are they, Uggs? Or workman boots, whatever they are. Or Timberlands. Uggs. Rich Swann went for a move. He just got caught by Morrissey. What's he going for here? I think he's going for a power bomb. Not sure what that was. Oh, Rich Swann's biting him. That's what's going on. George Kenny says, are the people at Daly's Place any rumors, info about the match? As far as people, I don't think so. Maybe some wrestlers at ringside. I don't know. Oh, drop kick. Morrissey goes over the top rope. He's not happy about it either. Rumors and info about the match. The match was filmed a week ago. This is according to a report today by Fightful Select. It was filmed a week or so ago. The reports from Fightful Select says that if you weren't going to watch Against All Odds tonight, watch it for this match because it's very good. Didn't reveal any spoilers, so don't worry about that. Just said it's worth going out of your way to see. It's an excellent match. And those in the Impact roster weren't even really aware, or those who didn't need to know, didn't know that it was filmed a week or so ago, and they didn't even know that it was going to be filmed at Daly's Place inside Jacksonville, Florida. So that's why it was a bit of a surprise this past week, because not a lot of people knew. You know, only people like Moose, Kenny Omega, Don Callis, Tony Khan, Scott D'Amore. Only a handful of people knew. Oh, springboard, and Morrissey just kicked Rich Swann to the guts. So that's the info, George Kenny, about the main event. BFG podcast says a lot of states reopened with stadiums, etc., at 100% capacity. I wonder how that will go for case numbers, etc., for Impact and WWE going ahead with their road plans. I hope numbers stay down. Well, I mean, what, you're talking about COVID cases? I mean, obviously, when you open things up, the cases are going to increase. The important thing, I suppose, is that people are vaccinated and they adhere to local, state, and health and safety guidelines. That's the most important thing. Ultimately, we want to get back out into the real world, but we want to do it safely. People's safety, their health, their lives, all of that is important. We've seen today in terms of the football. You know, life can change in an instant. So health and safety is paramount. And as long as people can do things safely and they adhere to the guidelines set, then that's what we have to do. But, you know, we have to get vaccinated. I've been finally able to book my vaccination. I get vaccinated next week. I get vaccinated. Hell in the Cell, right? This is going to be difficult. Hell in the Cell is next Sunday, right? I get vaccinated in the morning. I get my first jab. I have to get 2. I get my first jab in the morning next Sunday. Later on that evening, I have to do a live watch along and a post-show reaction. And the chances are I may not be feeling very well. So if that's not evidence or, you know, a reason to tune in alone to watch me, you know, possibly, I guess, vomiting live on stream. I mean, that's exciting, right? That's must see. That's pure television. That's pure drama. That's worth a subscription alone. I like. Morrissey's just dominating Rich Swann here at the moment. I first probably want to say Engelbert Humperdinck, but he was genuinely a singer. That isn't rude. He was a singer. An old singer, but that's not rude. You just what do you want me to say next? Cher? Or I don't know, Cliff Richard? Yeah, if you want me to just say old people, Tom Jones. Packed Entertainment says Rosemary might win the Knockouts Championship tonight, or she will go after the Knockouts Tag Team Championship with Havoc. That's a possibility. Fast Bradley says he says a super chat but didn't go through. Morrissey is still dominating Rich Swann here. It doesn't look like Rich Swann's getting much offense. Whips him into the corner. Oof, takes a bump. Chest first. Thor says, you are not making it that night. First night was rough for me. Well, that's good. It's good to hear. So I'm going to feel awful. But hey, that's a reason to subscribe. You tune in. Watch me just complain for 3 hours. If the show's not great next weekend as well, when I'm watching Hell in a Cell, I will be... that will be interesting. If the show's not good, I will be probably very grouchy watching that show. If I see some zombie stuff, I mean, I'll just start smashing some things. I'll definitely have my energy drinks here. The BFG podcast says, well, you're not able to get Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Only 1 dose required. I heard the UK now have that available. They do, but yeah, I think it's been approved, but it's going through the process. So basically, when I booked my thing, people from my age group could only book their appointments this past week. So it was the 2 doses. Morrissey just throwing Rich Swann around. George Kelly says, I just subscribed, but I hope not to see you vomit. Glad to find you, sir. Well, I appreciate your subscription, George Kenny. I really do. You can join George. Smash it and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Smash a like on the like button, too. Big splash by Morrissey in the corner there to Rich Swann. Packed Entertainment says, I think Ruby Riott is definitely coming to Impact since she's dating Jake something. And they've been dating for years. Is that true? I did not know that. I did not know Ruby Riott and Jake something were dating. Oof, big splash in the corner by Morrissey. A big kick to the face by Rich Swann. Goes for a boot, misses. Hangs himself up on the top rope. Speaking of dating, Morrissey is dating Lexi Nair from AEW. Stepdaughter of Diamond Dallas Page. Oof. Smash off the ring post. Eddie Volver says Morrissey got those roid bumps on his arms and back, like that dude Dan Martha from NXT. I'm not touching that one. A big kick to the face of Morrissey. Chauncey says shock the system. Obviously a NXT Undisputed Era fan. Morrissey's now led on the outside. Rich Swann's looking for something. I'm not sure what. Oh, 450 splash from the apron to Morrissey on the floor. Didn't get all of it, must say. Oof. That was nasty. Rich Swann, he hit the 450, but he didn't kind of, not want to sound like Michael Cole, didn't get all of it, shall we say. But Morrissey and Rich Swann are on the outside. Referees count to a 6. Rich Swann's back in. Morrissey's now made it back in just at the count of 9. Drop kick to the knee of Morrissey. Packed Entertainment says, imagine Amazing Red returned. How awesome, I think, would that be? Amazing Red versus Ace Austin and Amazing Red versus Trey McGowan dream matches. Another 450 splash by Rich Swann. Hooks the leg. Oof, that was close. W. Morrissey kicked out. Darthor says, first step to normalcy. I'll tune in and watch you probably asleep, but it'll be a good time for us. I'm watching me sleep on stream. Gosh, I'm not like Don Robbie watching WrestleMania. Have you seen that? That is highly entertaining. Go watch Robbie Lyle watching WrestleMania earlier this year and watch him fall asleep. It was very good. Phoenix splash by Rich Swann on W. Morrissey. Oh, he just sits up. W. Morrissey just sits up out of the Phoenix splash. Now he just rolls through. He's going to pick Rich Swann up again. Oh my God, he's just picking him up like he's a small child. W. Morrissey, now he's got him up on his shoulders. Oh, an F version of an F5 by W. Morrissey. Look at this, F5. W. Morrissey going for it again, going to go for a splash in the corner. It absolutely destroys Rich Swann. Hooks him up for a choke slam. Woof. Spins out the choke slam. Kick to the shin. Goes for a super kick there. Springboard. Oh, kick to the back. The BFG podcast says, on a really unrelated note, if you're a fan of football, I really hope we have not seen the end of Christian Eriksen's career today. Yeah, we spoke about this earlier. I mean, I don't know about him playing again. I'm just glad to see that he's stable, talking, and looks to be upright and talking. Power bomb by W. Morrissey. Looks is going to go for a deadlift, and again, power bomb. 2 power bombs in a row by W. Morrissey. This might be it. Look, he was planning something, but he's just stopped. Just slapping him in the face. Brandon Toll was saying you've got to defend yourself. Rich Swann's giving him the finger. I, Fast for Bradley, I love that. Giving him the middle finger. Morrissey is going to go for a 3rd power bomb. 3rd power bomb. Runs around. A bit like Joe Doring's one earlier on. Cover. 2, 3. W. Morrissey gets the victory. Not surprising. W. Morrissey just beat the hell out of him in this one. That was an okay match, though. Chauncey says, like your wrestling news. I appreciate that, Chauncey. Packed Entertainment says, yeah, Jake Something and Ruby Riot are dating according to Google and their social media accounts. It doesn't work when you split up the name and the first name is the swear word. I mean, come on. W. Morrissey gets the win, though. Packed Entertainment says, Amazing Red versus Rich Swann would be great as well. Amazing Red is one of those talents that are one of a kind. And once every generation they created. It also says, if CM Punk was to return to wrestling, I'd hope he'd return to Impact. Unfortunately, I don't think that would happen. Even though it's a long shot, since he's only had like 2 matches with there. W. Morrissey gets the victory there over Rich Swann. They go backstage with a John Purrazzo interview with Kimberly and Susan. Franco says, missed the first 2 matches. What happened? Is anyone else experienced issues with Impact Plus? Purchase a subscription. First 2 matches, gosh, all the way back to the first 2 matches. That was the street fight and then the Joe Doering versus Kojima match. They're both very good. I'm having no issues whatsoever with Impact Plus, which is fortunate because, again, sometimes it can be a bit problematic. They can be. The Chinese pro wrestling scene, I Fast Bradley. You know what I appreciate is that you did actually look for a Chinese company there in OWE. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I'm still not going to say the name, but I appreciate that you did a little bit of research for that one. BFG Podcast says, the situation today reminded me of 2009 all over again. I mean, it was very reminiscent of Fabrice Muamba, wasn't it? I mean, unfortunately we've seen it a couple of times. We've seen it Fabrice Muamba, Mark Vivian Foe, also. I forget, and it's terrible, but I forget the name of the Ajax youth player that unfortunately it happened to. This was what, 3 or 4 years ago. It's horrible. It's never, and you know, like I said, the BBC coverage of it earlier was just horrific. It really was. Packed Entertainment says W. Morrissey is booked phenomenally. Darth Thor says good match, nothing left for Swan but tag division. JPF says Impact really needs to find a way to re-separate the bouts. Impact could have a really solid heavyweight division. Franco Baron says thank you, Owen. No problem, Franco. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Here comes Tenille Dashwood. Maybe we see a heel turn finally from Jordynne Grace tonight. Maybe this is the time for the heel turn. Of course, Caleb with a K filming Tenille as she makes her way to the ring. JPF says W. Morrissey, Moose, Doering, Jake Something, Madman Fulton, and Taurus, among others, talking about Impact's heavyweight division, a literal heavyweight division, I guess. As out comes Jordynne Grace. Is she going to be accompanied by Rachel Ellering? She is, of course. Even though Jordynne Grace is the weak link, as they keep calling her. Jordynne Grace is already telling Rachel Ellering she's got this. Packed Entertainment says if Impact was able to get Braun Strowman, he wouldn't really fit. Impact has too many tall-type monster-looking stars like Joe Doering, W. Morrissey, Black Taurus, Hernandez, Shearer, Larry D. I found some Bradley. No. Franco Baron says, this is straight from Impact's Twitter. We are currently looking to address the issues with people being unable to access the site. We apologize for the inconvenience caused. Well, I guess I am very fortunate then. I am one of the lucky few that is not having any issues at all with Against All Odds right now. No problems whatsoever. It's still working for me. I don't know if this is because, again, I've been logged onto the site since at least like 45 minutes before the show came on the air. Because, again, I like to go on early because I know what this site is like. I know what Impact Plus is like. I know what FITE TV sometimes is like, especially with people that are interested in these events, especially like Against All Odds because of the main event. My recommendation always would be get on it early. And the website. Also, Doc Gallows. JPF says that's why he would fit, though. Franco Baron says my Impact Plus just spins. George Kenny says, I'm having trouble subscribing to the Impact Plus thing. You are right. Plans ahead of time. You're my lifeline on this night. Well, I appreciate that, George Kenny. I Faster Bradley says, I like how other commenters ignore me too. I'm so immature. I Faster Bradley's just that guy in the corner. Or that guy on the subway. Or in a tube that everyone just... They know he's crazy, but they just kind of just go, he needs to get somewhere, so we'll let him do his thing. Jordynne Grace, goes for charges Tenille Dashwood in the corner. She moves, but a big boot to the face of Tenille Dashwood by Grace. Goes for a big shoulder tackle. Jordynne Grace, of course, just re-signed with Impact Wrestling. Multi-year contract, so she's sticking around with Impact for a while. Curls and then into a power slam. Timber slam. Tenille Dashwood kicks out. Of course, you had Triple H's comments, didn't you, this week? The best female talent is in the WWE, and if they're not, that's where they want to be. I doubt people like Tenille Dashwood want to be in WWE. She was released, and I don't think she wants to go back. Half Nelson swing onto Tenille Dashwood there. Irish whip into the corner. Tenille Dashwood takes a bump. Jordynne Grace on fire at the moment. I wonder if Caleb with a K will get involved. Of course, he got involved last month, didn't he? Rachel Ellering cheering on Jordynne Grace. Caleb with a K just pulls Tenille Dashwood to the outside. Out of the way of danger. Jordynne Grace hits the rope. She's going to go for went for a baseball slide. Misses. Spins around. And a big boot to the face of Jordynne Grace by Tenille Dashwood. Oof. Dashwood and Caleb just pulled Jordan Grace to the outside. Lands head right onto the entrance ramp. Now Caleb with a case taking a selfie. He's taking a selfie with Jordan Grace. Rachel Ellering is now going to the support of a partner. Of course, Rachel Ellering actually had the referee's attention, which allowed Caleb with a K and Tenille Dashwood to get the attention or get the upper hand. BFG podcast says, anyway, going back to wrestling, what do you think about AEW doing major shows 4 weeks in a row? Surely there must be some big angles or surprise signing on the way. I think they're trying to, it's a several-pronged approach. Obviously, they want to pop big numbers on TNT, especially after being preempted for so many months. They want to do some big numbers on TNT. I think also they want to sell tickets because the first couple of weeks are selling fine, but it's after that is going to be an issue in selling tickets regularly for AEW again. My concern is, after 4 weeks of specials, are you really interested in the special after the fourth week because it's not a special anymore? How can a special be a special if you see it every single week? That's going to be my concern for that one, but I'm excited for it. A month worth of exciting AEW television, like I said. It's just, is it a special if you've seen it 3 times in a row at that point? The NWA Women's Champ is pretty darn good. Yeah, well, yeah. What, do you mean Camille? Because I think that might be debatable. So Tenille Dashwood's currently in control now. Jordan Grace in the corner. Pact Entertainment says, I'm glad Impact never signed that unprofessional, immature, and insensitive star Leo Rush after his insensitive comment about saying, I guess Emma really wasn't ready for Asuka after she was released. Leo Rush is a garbage person for that, and I lost all respect for him when he did that years ago. Pact Entertainment not a fan of Leo Rush, who of course is now retired after he suffered an injury during his AEW debut at Double or Nothing. When was that, a couple of weeks ago? Like I said, time just doesn't exist for me at the moment. Tenille Dashwood's got some kind of sort of pinning submission combination. Oof, kicks out Jordan Grace at 2. You've got Caleb with a K and Rachel Ellering at ringside, cheering on their respective partners. I Faster Bradley, I mean, come on. Come on. Now, you can talk about the actor. This is one for you, I Faster Bradley. You'll enjoy this. Do you know the actor's name that plays Daredevil? Okay. The actor's name that plays Daredevil. Go and Google that and post it into this chat. You'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. Tenille Dashwood goes for the Irish whip. Counters by Jordan Grace. Charges her in the corner but moves. Going to go for a tarantula, it looks like. Yes, tarantula by Tenille Dashwood. Shades of Tajiri. Just love that Tajiri. The tarantula referee counts to the 5 before it gets broken. Tenille Dashwood. Oh, crossbody into the bottom corner. Oh, Jordan Grace catches her. Catches her, gets back to her feet. He's going to go for a fall away slam. That's right, Pact Entertainment. It's Charlie Cox. That's a real guy. And guess what, I Faster Bradley? It wasn't you that made me say it. It was Pact Entertainment that made me say it. It wasn't you. After all that work you put in, it was Pact Entertainment. You missed your chance. You missed your chance. Tenille Dashwood and Jordan Grace down in the ring. Trying to get back up. Referee's count is to a 7 at this point. Oof. Trading forearm shots by Jordan Grace and Tenille Dashwood. Oh, huge slam by Jordan Grace. And another one by Jordan Grace. I Fast Bradley says, Charlie Cox amateur stuff. Oh, he's a great actor. I'm a big Daredevil fan. There's a rumor for Marvel fans, we're really getting off point here, but there's a rumor that Daredevil is going to be in the next Spider-Man film in December, along with all the other Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. Knees to the back of Tenille Dashwood. Jordan Grace hits the right reverse elbow. Jordan Grace going to go for a Vader bomb. Hits it. Cover. 1, 2. Kicks out. Darthor says Rio or Deeb. Well, unfortunately, of course, yes. Rio or Deeb The NWA World Women's Champion is Camille right now. Serena Deeb lost her, didn't she? Packed Entertainment said Ben Affleck played Daredevil in the film. That was the bad Daredevil film. It was terrible. Really bad, wasn't it? Just awful. But then thankfully we had the good Daredevil TV series on Netflix. And like I said, apparently he's in the new Spider-Man film. So elbow into Jordan Grace as she was charging at Tenille Dashwood in the corner there. Dashwood's now going to go for kicks to the shoulder. She's on the top rope. What's she going to plan for here? Top rope, goes for a cross body, hits it. Referee 2. Oh, kicks out. George Kelly says, Deeb, many thanks. Rio is pretty good also. Thanks. Back to touch. I just saw Bradley. The first name of Zukma is very creative. It's very creative. Packed Entertainment says, I think Impact can rebuild their main event scene with Chris Sabin, Ace Austin, Moose, Sami Callihan, Larry D, maybe Matt Cardona and Josh Alexander in the future. They certainly got great names under contract. Some of those aren't technically under contract; they're on per appearance deals. But I get your point. This Jordan Grace Tenille Dashwood match is getting some serious time here, isn't it? As Tenille Dashwood goes for a hangman's neck breaker, hits it, shoulders down, and Jordan Grace grabs the bottom rope. George Kelly says, I guess I'm behind the news again. Insert name 101 says, hey, just subbed. I appreciate that. You can join them. Subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Click the notification go. Smash a like if you're enjoying Against All Odds. Remember, Super Chats are also open. You can do that by clicking the $sign. Oh, Jordan Grace rolls through. She's got the back. She's got a sleeper hold locked in. Is Tenille Dashwood going to tap? Sleeper hold is locked in. She's going to tap. This might be it. She's going to fade. I think this is going to be it. She's got the sleeper hold. She's got the legs wrapped as well. Unless Caleb gets involved. Hands gone up. 1, 2. If it drops her 3 times, it's over. 3. Well, the refs. Caleb's got the selfie light involved. Oh, Rachel Ellering has just pulled him off the apron. Not sure what was going on there. Now Jordan Grace is going crazy at Rachel Ellering. She's saying, I told you not to help me. This might be the heel turn. Jordan Grace, of course, had Tenille Dashwood beat there. Had the sleeper hold locked in. Rachel Ellering actually technically accidentally distracted the referee. She's going to go for the Grace driver. Small package by Tenille Dashwood. 2, 3. She wins. Tenille Dashwood gets the win. Even though Rachel Ellering technically cost Jordan Grace the match. We're building to this feud, to this heel turn. Jordan Grace is not happy. So Tenille Dashwood wins after the small package. You're going to like that one. I faster Bradley. Small package on Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace storming to the back. Packed Entertainment says, watch Ace Austin cash in his Super X Cup. Then he'd cash in option C with his newly won X Division Championship after attacking Josh Alexander backstage. Cash it in. Then maybe he'll win the World Championship. It's a good plan. I fast for Bradley says your favourite was Dean Windass. That is genuinely a footballer. So I have no issue saying that one. Darth Thor says, damn good women's match, better than I thought it would be. Certainly got more time. And like I said, the only thing is, isn't it, the Rachel Ellering Jordan Grace feud is so obvious, isn't it? Because Jordan Grace is back in the ring. Jordan Grace, Michinoku driver to Caleb with a K. Jordan Grace is snapped. She's screaming at Rachel Ellering. She's not happy. And just kicks Caleb with a K to the outside. I've hit the Michinoku driver. She keeps telling Rachel Ellering that she can do this. She's definitely pulling a mean face. Right. Jordan Grace. Pulling straight, proper mean face. Give it up. So see Brian Myers backstage. Faster Bradley says, I think I might be the internet equivalent of that crazy person who shouts rubbish at the wind. Yes, or traffic as well. Packed Entertainment says the team is going to implode now, I think. So Brian Myers is backstage educating our young pro wrestler. There's Jake something. Jake something says, I'll give you some advice. Whatever Brian Myers says, do the opposite. I guess we might be getting a Brian Myers versus Jake something match at some point. Jake something's confronting Brian Myers, telling him to teach him how to be a man, teach him how to step up. Brian Myers says, Sam, write this down. Don't take the bait. So I guess we're going to get Jake something Brian Myers match at some point. Coming up next is going to be the Knockouts Tag Team Championships on the line. I Faster Bradley. I'm still not going to say it. I don't watch baseball. I don't. Franco Barron says, it's getting close to finally playing. I made it to the play option. Well, these are small victories, Franco. Small victories. Finally on. There you go. Congratulations. At last it's working. At least they were telling the truth. They are working to get it fixed. So Knockouts Tag Team Championships are on the line next. See Fire and Flavor going up against Kimberly and Susan. Again, my prediction for this one was Fire and Flavor would retain or win the championships. I think they will. Susan just confronting Dave Penza there. He looks pretty freaked out. Don't blame him. I wonder what the next character in Susan's, Su Young's psyche and personality is going to be. Of course, we've seen Su Young, we've seen Susie, we've now seen Susan. I mean, when did we get Susan? Like November last year? I feel like we need to see the next evolution of Su Young. We need to see the next evolution of Susie, whether it's Su Young, Susan, Susie, or whoever. We've got to see the next chapter. But here come Fire and Flavor. Again, I think Fire and Flavor retain here, and I think that hopefully maybe leads to Fire and Flavor versus the Iconics at Slammiversary. That certainly would be fun, wouldn't it? The BFG podcast says, does anyone know where we are going to be able to watch the AAA Triple Mania events in August? Is it going to be available for free on Twitch, or do we have to get it on an app like FITE? I would assume it will probably be on FITE TV or something like that. One would assume it's probably going to be on FITE TV. I don't know that for a fact, but aren't most events like that on FITE TV? So probably. iFast said you're discriminating against those who have the first name of Chubby. Maybe, I guess. I don't know where you're going with this. iFast with Bradley. Packed Entertainment says once Ruby Wright eventually debuts in Impact, her and Jake Something will become the new Impact power couple after Ty Valkyrie, Johnny Impact, and RVD and Katie Forbes left. iFast with Bradley says my audio's gone out of sync. Is that legitimate? Because this is the thing. I don't even know whether to believe you anymore. We'll double check it. If it's still out of sync, we'll double check. This is the thing with iFast with Bradley. You never know if you have to, if you believe what he says. No, it seems fine. It seems fine. You're lying again, iFast with Bradley. You're lying. The match has begun, though. Darthor says, I do not like Fire and Flavor, but they have grown on me. BFG Podcast says, the last couple of years have been available for free on Twitch from their official channel. That's why I asked. I wondered if it was going to stay the same or that's the change. That's all. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know. Kimberly's tagged in. She's with Kira Hogan. Thez press by Kira Hogan on Kimberly. Oof. Kira Hogan now going to go for hip attack in the corner to Kimberly. Ooh, drop kick by Kira Hogan. Tasha Steelz comes in, hits an elbow drop onto Kimberly, goes for a cover, kicks out. Darthor and George Kenny saying the audio is fine. I faster Bradley. Genuinely on my end it has. I know I'm the boy who cried wolf here, but I was being serious. I think it's fine. You might have to restart it or whatever. Kimberly selling a knee injury. If it's legitimate or not, probably not. Since you can never believe anything in pro wrestling. Now Susan attacking Tasha Steelz. Going after the eyes of Tasha Steelz. Bang. Spinning heel kick by Kimberly to Tasha Steelz. Goes for a cover. Kicks out at 2. Let's do a quick subscriber check. See where we're at. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Smash a like on the video if you are enjoying Against All Odds. Only 78 to go until 4,000. Which is exciting. 4,000, big milestone. Appreciate everyone that's recently subscribed and watches the watch-alongs and post-show reaction streams and daily videos. I still find it crazy. 4,000 is just insane, considering a year ago, I think pretty much like a year ago. I mean, I've had this account since 2019. I think I set it up like the summer of 2019 or something. But I didn't start doing videos here since, I don't know, like November time of 2019. And then I only really started getting like serious, I would say, with doing videos around like about a year ago. Honestly, I mean, I'd been doing them. I'd been doing them a bit before then, but I certainly started covering like Impact and that like a year ago. And now we're at 4,000 subscribers, so it's just crazy in a year, absolutely crazy. So I really do appreciate everyone that takes the time to watch the video, subscribe, interact with the live chats here on the channel. You know, just it makes this fun. This is what it's meant to be about. It's fun. You know, it's just about enjoying pro wrestling and watching it like you're watching it with your friends. We're all friends here. Kimberly and Susan going to go for a double suplex on Tasha Steelz, it looks like. Beautiful double suplex. Kimberly going to go for a cover. Hooks both legs. Gets a 2 count. Packed Entertainment says, Susie, that's bad. Susan, trust me, I'm Susan. Sue Young turns her head into a scary and aggressive way. Sue Young's terrifying. The BFG podcast, if you find out, can you let us know, please, and what you'll be doing? Watch along of that, because AEW related main events. You know, Triple Mania is a good point. I mean, obviously, we don't really usually cover AAA or anything like that, but it's a big event, so I don't see why not. If people are interested in it, then we'll do it. It's the same with, say, the NWA All Females pay-per-view, and even the 73rd anniversary. If people want to watch it, then we'll do it. I have no problem. It's all about the people. It's all about you guys here on the channel. I know it's cliche when they say, you know, it's pro wrestling channel made by fans, run by fans, but it is legitimate. It genuinely is. iFaster Bradley says, I did genuinely send a super chat, but must have got blocked for saying poo or boob. LOL. Well, I appreciate you if you did. And you got me to say it, so there you go. Kimberly still working over Tasha Steelz in the ring. Stomps. Tasha Steelz is hung up on the bottom rope. Looks like it's going to go for a version of a guillotine, it looks like. What was that? Trying to sort of lift her up off the ropes. I tried to turn it into a powerbomb. Actually turned it into a head scissors. Nearly got to that point there. Kimberly sort of went for a powerbomb. She turned it into a sort of Hurricane Rana / head scissors kind of move there by Tasha Steelz. Both are looking for the tag here. So both are going for the hot tag. Kimberly's looking to tag in Susan. Tasha Steelz tags in. Here comes Kira Hogan. Here comes Susan. Bit of a reset here. And Kira Hogan's all fire I guess she's the flavor, but she's all fire right now. Oh, super kick by Kiera Hogan. Tags Tasha Steelz back in. I hate when they do this. You've just done the hot tag and you tag yourself back out immediately. Surely that's just lack psychology. Why would you just tag in your tag team partner? Because now she's tagged herself back in. Kira's going to go for basement drop kick. Botch Guy says, hey, Owen, how's the show so far? Hey, how you doing, my friend? It's been a lot of fun. Oh, Susan kicks out too. These Impact Plus events always are a lot of fun. Can't wait for fans to return, obviously. But as always, good show so far. Good pacing. Still some big matches to come. Still obviously got the main event for the World Championship. Still got the Impact Tag Team Championship match to come. I think that's... Oh, and the Knockouts Championship. So we've only got a few matches left. Kim sidewalk slam to Kiera Hogan. Oh, and a leg drop by Susan there. Leg drop combination. Goes for a cover. Kimberly broken up by Tasha Steelz. BFG Podcast says, I don't know about anyone else, but I would at least appreciate if you could find out where I could watch it. What, Triple Mania? I mean, we'll find out afterwards. It's in August, so they maybe haven't even got that worked out yet. We are still in June. Or sliced bread number 2. Cover. Oh, there's a kick out, and then actually turned into an... Susan just accidentally elbow dropped Kimberly in the chest. iFast Bradley says, yeah, I said it. Time to unsubscribe and deregister my YouTube account. I won. I mean, this is it. Your life has peaked, iFast Bradley. That is it. You really has. Superplex. Dragonstorm1234 says, so I know I'm a little late, but can we talk about W. Morrissey beating Swan clean without using a finisher? Hey, they're putting the guy over strong. They're trying to build him up for the babyface to eventually beat him. Oh, roundhouse kick by Kiera Hogan to Susan. Oh, what a pump kick by Kimberly. Kimberly just nearly kicked Kiera Hogan's head off with that pump kick. That was nasty. Now she's just tagged in Susan. Packed Entertainment says, Impact better bring in the Sea Stars and the Iconics to build up the Knockouts tag team division. What's Susan now going for? Looks like she was going to go for it's got a leg pick on here. Kimberly, oh, beautiful swanton bomb by Kimberly. Susan goes for the cover. Is this going to be it? 2. Kiera Hogan kicks out. Packed Entertainment says, I thought Impact was about to set up Taylor Wilde and Tenille Dash for becoming Knockouts Tag Team Champions. Kiera Hogan's got a bit of a sleeper hold on. The BFG Podcast says, sorry, didn't mean today, or does sound so aggressive. I ran out of characters. LOL. Don't worry about it. BFG, we're all friends here. Tasha Steelz going to the top rope. Oh, missile drop kick to Kimberly. Now goes back to the top rope. What's she going to set up? Is she going to go for the frog splash? This is what she won the titles with last month. Frog splash on Susan. This might be it. 3 gets the victory. Fire and Flavor retain after a frog splash. Well, that was a fun match. You don't anymore. You don't have to say anything, I Fast for Bradley, anymore. You've already won. You've already won. I Fast for Bradley says, anyway, I'm off to sleep. I've won, and I will retire to reflect on my spoils of victory. You can sleep sound of mind knowing that you won. Fire and Flavor get the victory, but I appreciate I Fast for Bradley with you joining us. As always, I appreciate all you guys joining us. I always really do. Fire and Flavor retain the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Who could beat them? Who? Maybe it'll be the Iconics at Slammiversary, right? Maybe it might be the Iconics debuting at Slammiversary to be the one to defeat them. But Fire and Flavor retain, as we expected. As they go to another shot of Daly's Place, of course, in Jacksonville, Florida, the site of the main event for tonight's Impact World Championship match between Kenny Omega and Moose. We're counting down. We've only got a couple matches left before we get to that main event. Before I go, do a Northern Irish accent. That would make my week. Do you know, the thing is, I think I can. I used to have a teacher that taught RS at school, religious studies, and she was Northern Irish, and she had a very thick Northern Irish accent. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give in. I've already given in once to what you wanted me to say tonight, so no. So here comes the Decay because it's an Impact Tag Team Championship match that's up next. Here comes Crazy Steve and Black Taurus. Obviously, they're going after the Impact Tag Team Championships, currently held by Violent by Design. It's not going to be Joe Doering and Rhino competing. It's going to be Rhino and Deonna defending the Tag Team Championships tonight. George Kenny says, was waiting for the end of the match. How does that little $ thing at the bottom chat work? Is there an account somewhere I need? I'm an old person, hard to learn new tricks. I don't know. Obviously, you can. I think you need to have some form of Google account, and then I think you can go through PayPal or something. I don't know. I don't. I consider myself relatively young. I don't know. But if you do want to contribute to the channel, you can do that via the super chat $. The BFG podcast says, "Do you think Ring of Honor are going to join the crossover at some point?" I don't know. I don't think so. Probably, to be honest. Packed Entertainment says, "Wait a minute. I just realized. Are your eyes blue? Is that your real eye color?" It is. I have blue eyes. This is the truth. I do. Deonna and Rhino, Violent by Design, making their way to the ring. Impact Tag Team Champions, or just, I guess, Violent by Design in general, the Impact Tag Team Champions, due to the Freebird rule. There you go. D'Lo Brown has just confirmed that Violent by Design has invoked the Freebird rule. Of course, Eric Young actually did train Crazy Steve as well. I tell you what, I am a fan of Black Taurus. I could do without the whole, mask gimmick and the horns and all this kind of stuff, because it just looks like a jacked up version of Mantar, doesn't he, from the WWE days, WWE days. But he is an amazing worker. I mean, the stuff he can do for his size in his ring, it's amazing. Eric Young, of course, ringside for this one. Still can't compete. It's not medically cleared to compete. Tore his ACL. Is expected to be back in ring action around October, November time this year. He's going to be out of action for 9 months, he said. So no return for Eric Young just yet. But the bell has rung. It's going to be Crazy Steve and Deonna starting this one. So who do we think is going to leave here as the Impact Tag Team Champions? Do we think it's going to be Violent by Design, or do we think it's going to be Decay? Black Taurus and Crazy Steve against Deonna. Oh, interesting. Just heard that. So apparently on the commentary for tonight's main event, it's going to be Tony Schiavone is going to be on commentary for an Impact main event. Don Callis and Scott D'Amore apparently on commentary. Did I hear that correctly? That's exciting. Tony Schiavone, Don Callis, and Scott D'Amore. What a commentary team that is. It's a lot of fun. So Deanna's getting back in the ring here with Crazy Steve. George Kenny says, I need to learn a lot. Me too. JPF says, Fast with Bradley is resilient, that's for sure. Packed Entertainment says, I was really expecting Willie Mack to attack Morrissey for them Enzo Amore to debut and help them take out Swann and Mack. Maybe that'll happen at some point. Morrissey's basically said he wants to do things on his own. So maybe we don't see an Enzo Amore appearance in Impact. I don't think that's a bad thing, to be honest. Not that I'm bashing Enzo by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, put it that way. So reverse elbow by Black Taurus and Crazy Steve, the Decay. Taurus, oh, beautiful senton to Deonna. So obviously we've got this match, we've got the Knockouts Championship match, and then we've got the World Championship match. So not a ton of matches left. Which is interesting, because it would make you wonder how long is the main event going to be here. So we could probably be done, I think, by what? 10:30 Eastern Time? Probably something like that. Deonna's just tagged in Rhino, and it's now Rhino and Black Taurus. Packed Entertainment says, if you could go back in time and go to any one wrestling show you want, what would it be? I think for me, it would be any Impact show. I went to 2 WWE shows for a few years ago, but that's when I liked it. Any show? Gosh. I mean, there's so many, isn't there? You could say WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 20. I mean, loads of WrestleManias. WrestleMania 17, ECW One Night Stand 2005. I mean, there's so many events. I mean, in terms of events that I've actually been to, I suppose I've been fortunate to see people like Eddie Guerrero wrestle live. The first ever live event I went to was a SmackDown tour in the UK. It was the post-WrestleMania tour, and it was after WrestleMania 19. And the main event was Brock Lesnar versus The Big Show. This is around that period of time where Brock Lesnar was feuding with The Big Show. You remember when they were doing like the stretcher match around that period of time of Judgment Day? Los Guerreros was feuding with the world's greatest tag team, and they'd stolen the gold medals. That was my first ever live event I went to, was SmackDown. So that would have been like 2003. I then went to a live event the following year, which was a Raw one. Fortunate to see The Undertaker wrestle in the UK. Saw one of the last times. Well, that was one of the last times I saw him. 2010. I went to see The Undertaker. I went to see a SmackDown taping, and at the SmackDown taping, The Undertaker lost to The Big Show. The crowd was absolutely livid. They were fuming with it. What is a big regret of mine though with that one? It's a huge regret of mine. Is that that SmackDown tour that I went to that year? This would have been 2009. What the dark match was Umaga versus R-Truth, because Umaga was just about to return. It's when he had this feud with CM Punk, and we were late because of traffic. We didn't get to the arena until just before the ECW TV taping started, so we missed the dark match. And then obviously the following year, I might have been even later that year, Umaga sadly passed away, so I missed that chance. So always be early, guys. Always be early. So Dean is going to go for a cover on... Oh, I thought he was going to go for a cover on Black Taurus. He just absolutely smashing him in the head. JPF says, when Booker T debuted at Impact, that crowd went nuts. They did. I used to like Booker T's Impact music as well. Rhino's in, is attacking Black Taurus here. The BFG podcast says, do you think Ring of Honor... I'm going to join the crossover soon. Sorry if you answered just before when I asked. I was having audio problems. It's fine now. I don't think so. I think that Impact... I know they mentioned Ring of Honor a couple of times, but I don't think so. I think ROH are doing their own thing. Rhino right hands to Black Taurus here. Now he's going to go for... working over the arm. Tags back in Deonna. Darth Thor says, I got to see Owen Hart wrestle and the 316 speech. Really? So you were there at King of the Ring 96? That's awesome. That's pretty damn cool. George Kenny says, I never miss anything with the Road Warriors in our area. Crockett Tag Team Tourney and the Superdome was great. Tag teams from many territories and in one place. Well, that's awesome as well. So I'm guessing George Kenny got to see some real life legit Road Warrior pops from, you know, the Crockett kind of era and JCP era. That's pretty awesome. Black Taurus, beautiful. Goes on the second rope and going to cross body. That was nice. Looks like he might have hurt himself coming down. That's the problem with being so big and doing these incredible things, is that sometimes you just never know how badly that could damage you. Here comes Crazy Steve. Tag hits Rhino on the apron, and a clothesline now to Deonna, and another one, building up some momentum. The stuff that Crazy Steve is able to do in the ring, by the way, is pretty incredible considering he can barely see. He's like blind. Reverse neck breaker. He's got bad glaucoma, easy for me to say. Floats over, now going in, I think that's a crossface. Yeah, it's a crossface. Crossface by Crazy Steve on Deonna. Eric Young screaming at Deonna to get to the ropes. Good advice, Eric. I think that's pretty much the point. I think that's the idea of trying to break up the hold. The BFG podcast says, I just thought they might join soon because they have their first big event in front of a crowd coming up on July 11, Will you be covering that one as well? Maybe. I mean, the thing is, it's difficult. It's difficult to cover. Primarily, we do WWE, AEW, Impact, bit of New Japan stuff as well. Like you said, big events, maybe Triple Mania, we might cover that. Big NWA stuff, we might cover that. It's just difficult. There's so much to cover. Historically as well, Ring of Honor, this is a bit behind the curtain here. Well, Crazy Steve with a knees to the head. He's going to go for, I think, a tornado DDT, it looks like. Yeah, behind the curtain a little bit, but historically, Ring of Honor can be slightly difficult to deal with, shall we say, on YouTube. Oh, Crazy Steve hits a version of a tornado DDT, but he just kicked out Deonna. So, yeah, you have to be a bit weary sometimes with Ring of Honor. Deonna goes to the top rope. Deonna rolls... Crazy Steve rather goes to the top rope. Deonna rolls out the way. Now what's Deonna going for? Oh, knee to the guts. Knee to the guts of Crazy Steve. Packed Entertainment says, I heard an indie talent named Lady Frost debuted at the newest tapings, and now with bringing Killer Kelly soon as well, Impact's Knockouts division is looking stacked. Yes, she did, reportedly. We haven't seen her yet, but yes, she did. So maybe she appears tonight. We've still got the Knockouts Championship match to come. She's also been working NWA tapings too. She was at the NWA pay-per-view recently. Crazy Steve went for a schoolboy flatliner. Short flatliner by Crazy Steve. Tags in Black Taurus. Goes to the top rope. Oh my gosh. Shotgun drop kick from the top rope. He's unbelievable, Black Taurus. He really is. Tilt-a-wheel into the splash. Black Taurus goes for avalanche Samoan drop. Beautiful. Shades of Umaga, that one. Tags in Crazy Steve. Crazy Steve's going to the top rope. Senton bomb by Crazy Steve. Goes for a cover. And Rhino breaks it up. In comes Black Taurus. Or a headbutt. What is it? Headbutt. Oh, Black Taurus. Oh, he landed on his knee. That looked nasty. He might have hurt his knee. I think, legitimately, Black Taurus might have hurt his knee. That looked really nasty. And Eric Young looking on. Of course, he's got a bad knee, so he would know. Clothesline by Crazy Steve. And another one to Deonna. Charges Deonna in the corner again. Uppercut. Crazy Steve got to go for a cannonball to Deonna in the corner. Eric Young's pointing at Crazy Steve saying, you should know better. Of course, Eric Young did train Crazy Steve. That's the story here, of course. Oh, Crazy Steve goes up to the top rope, distracted by Eric Young. Rhino pulls him down. Deanna's now going to go for, I think, for a DDT. Deonna DDT just spikes Crazy Steve. This is going to be it, I think. 2, 3. Violent by Design retain the tag team championships because of Deonna and his DDT and the distraction by Eric Young on the outside. So Violent by Design retain the Freebird rule. That's 2 victories out of 2 for Violent by Design tonight. Joe Doering wins and the Rhino and Deonna retain the tag team championships. Good night for Violent by Design. BFG Podcast says, I would appreciate if you could consider adding in, I'm guessing, NWA and Ring of Honor coverage, as not many people cover them more for live events. Maybe. Love Wrestling said, is there no video of the match? I wish I could, but obviously I cannot. Copyright issues. Connor Copland say, anybody hear about this Goof Hannibal, a.k.a. the it's so bad, it's content, it's funny. Still waiting for him to release the numbers and analytics about... I did see... I know what you're referencing. Let's say that. I do know what you're referencing there, Connor. I think we're getting another Steve Macklin vignette. There he is. Steve Macklin's with the Jameson. Jameson and what would be his Impact contract. Looks great. He says torture is... People say torture is pain, but torture is time. Steve Macklin said he's scared of time. It's time. Over years, he's had nothing but an abundance of time. It's a good promo by Steve Macklin here. They're showing glimpses of his military background. I said that I think they might go with a bit of a Punisher kind of gimmick. Now it's time to meet Mr. Mayhem, Steve Macklin. They're like, that logo is very Punisher vibes. He's definitely going for a Punisher deal, 100%. So next is going to be the Knockouts Championship. We'll go back to the live chat. Connor Copeland asked what I was going to say. I know what you're talking about when it comes to the analytics. I think referencing Hannibal, like I'll be honest. I've watched Hannibal's interviews. Some of his interviews are very good. They are very good, and he's got a ton of his subscribers, and I think does promotions at Great North Wrestling. He does in Canada. You can't fault that. I think the video you're referring to is that the one where there was some criticism about him having an interview with, I forget who it was. It was someone, he did an interview with someone that I don't think went well. They were under the influence, and they basically bluff. And basically he said that he was the best interviewer on YouTube, and he had the analytics to prove it, all the analytics and all that kind of stuff. It's okay. Darfor says, no free show, that would be illegal. Jeanette Torres says, Black Taurus needs more. I'm a big fan of Black Taurus. I would, again, prefer to change the gimmick, but what the guy can do is just pretty incredible. Some of the stuff he can do. Love Wrestling says, okay, it's just a podcast. Well, it's a watch-along. It's a watch-along. Connor Kaplan says, lazy booking. Packed Entertainment. Impact should bring in Zelina Vega, formerly known as Rosita in TNA, and Sarah Stock, formerly known as Sarita in TNA. Well, I think Zelina Vega, I don't know if she's officially signed with WWE. She was seen at the Performance Center. He says they're both former Knockouts Tag Team Champions and aren't working for WWE anymore. Well, as I mean, Zelina Vega actually might be. Connor Copland says, I forgot no Swearhausen. Well, exactly. You have to be very good, very evil here. No Swearhausen. Ah, God, I love Danhausen. I'm such a Danhausen fan. Knockouts Championship is on the line next, and it's coming to our main event. So, exciting times here as Deonna Purrazzo is facing Rosemary. But yes, I love Danhausen. Speaking of Ring of Honor, man, do I like Danhausen. I could watch Danhausen unboxing videos. Forget the pro wrestling, right? I could watch Danhausen unboxing videos for days. For days, I could watch Danhausen unboxing videos. That is some of the most entertaining stuff. Fun story, actually. A couple of weeks ago, I was planning to stay up again, because every time you watch a pro wrestling event over here in the UK, you have to stay up so late. I was planning on staying up because I was going to watch NXT. I was going to watch NXT. I was going to do some live tweeting of it as I watched the show. And you know what happened to me? I was watching Danhausen unboxing videos, and I just went down such a rabbit hole of Danhausen unboxing videos that I just watched that. I didn't even watch NXT live because I started watching Danhausen unboxing videos. And in the end, I had to tweet out. I had to say, look, I was going to watch NXT, but in the end, I've ended up watching Danhausen unboxing videos. Tweeted it out, and of course, because Danhausen is very nice, very evil, of course he liked it. Because Danhausen recognizes real. Real recognizes real, right? Love Wrestling says, love your passion. No, that's all it is. Love Wrestling. It's all passion here. It's all fun here on the channel. There may be no live video of the show, but we have fun. We interact with the live chat and the live comments, fully interactive. Give you some information as to what's happened in the ring. We'll do a post-show reaction as well. So it's all fun here on the channel. Packed Entertainment says, could be great back in the Knockouts tag team division. The old TNA Originals tag teams, but the newer team is great look, but it's also because it's a family and nice feel to it. Darth Thor says, Punisher for sure. Love me some Rosemary. George Kenny says, just to watch along. This is great. I appreciate that, George. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Smash a like on the like button too. Willie Bowen says, I love Jessica Havoc and Rosemary. Well, they might be next to challenge for the Tag Team Championships, right? But there it is, the Knockouts Championship being held up in the air. Deonna Purrazzo set to defend against Rosemary. Deonna Purrazzo, for me, one of the best female wrestlers in the world today. You know, screw gender. One of the best wrestlers in the world today is Deonna Purrazzo. Triple H can say what he wants. about the best talent in the world works for WWE, and if they don't, they want to work here. Deonna Purrazzo is evidence that that is not factually accurate, because Deonna Purrazzo is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world today, and she does not want to work with WWE. She used to. She got released. She doesn't want to go back. She's very happy where she is. So that comment by Triple H is false. And Triple H, when he had that media call the other day, I mean, to say that he was prickly is an understatement. He was in one bad mood on that media call. Some of the things that he was saying were just frankly crazy. Crazy. Rosemary looks like she's wearing a knee brace. So maybe what's favoring that knee. Charges into the corner, but Deonna Purrazzo moves. Rosemary's going to go to the top rope. What's she planning here? Looks like some form of a upside down kind of headlock, using the legs across the neck of Deonna Purrazzo there. Willie Bone says Triple H is clueless. I think that the Triple H thing, there was a lot of discussion about this, wasn't there? And this, why I didn't get with the Triple H thing is people tried to imply that people were offended. People that are, oh, I can't believe people are offended because he said that he thinks WWE is the best or he thinks NXT is the best. And it makes you wonder what people are listening to, because I don't think anyone was offended. Nobody was offended with Triple H saying that he thinks WWE has the best female talent. Nobody's offended in that. You obviously think, if you work for your own company, you think, and this isn't even in pro wrestling, this is in general, but you think your company is the best. If you sell cookies, you think your cookies are the best cookies in the world and they taste great. It's the same with Triple H. He thinks that WWE does the best pro wrestling in the world. He believes it. He promotes it. Why wouldn't you believe in the product that you're offering, right? Oh, T-bone suplex on the entrance ramp by Rosemary there. So yeah, why wouldn't you believe that? I don't have any problem with that. What I have a problem with Triple H, more so I had an issue with him saying that the best female talent in the world is in WWE and everyone wants to come here. That's not true. My biggest issue was Triple H when it came to his explanations about the Evolution pay-per-view and his whole equality is equality rap. That's when I was going, look, Triple H, now you're talking BS. When he was asked, are we going to do Evolution 2? The response to, are we going to do Evolution 2 shouldn't be, we've already done that, or haven't we done that already? Because that just tells you that was a PR stunt. That was a PR stunt. That's all it was. That wasn't about progressing the women's evolution. That wasn't about giving females opportunities. That was about, we're doing these Saudi shows. These Saudi shows are getting frowned upon because they're all male shows, and there's quite a few real bad issues going on with these Saudi shows, but we're just ignoring them for money. Oh, by the way, we'll give the females their own pay-per-view so people don't get upset. It was a PR move. That's what it was. And the idea, oh, Rosemary was just caught up in the ring post, and Deonna Purrazzo with a pump kick to her arm, already figuring out for her armbar finish. Yeah, when Triple H, he gave evidence that the whole Evolution pay-per-view was a PR stunt by WWE. And I'm not saying that WWE isn't progressive of female talent. They totally are. 2 out of the last 3 WrestleMania main events have featured female talent. But he gave the reason why they haven't done an Evolution pay-per-view is because they don't want to. They can say, well, it didn't draw. It didn't draw. That's so not true either. Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey from Evolution in its entirety was posted on YouTube. It has 72 million views, but it didn't draw. Do you know how much money 72 million views on one video can make you? We're talking a significant amount of money. On top of that, every video for their feud on Raw had like 20 million views, 25 million views, 11 million views. It's crazy. Think how much money that generated WWE in just terms of AdSense revenue alone, let alone in terms of TV revenue, tickets revenue. They'll say, oh, it didn't draw. It sold out Nassau Coliseum. They'll say it's a smaller arena, but it sold out. They'll say, oh, no one watched it on the network. It was the second most watched thing that month on the network. It's just BS. It's just BS. And then on top of that, on that call, Triple H then basically said, oh, I hate when it basically showed his hand that he's annoyed that people say, I don't watch NXT, I watch AEW instead. He goes, why do you have to say that? If you don't like it, don't watch, all this kind of stuff. Well, you're not allowed to be offered constructive criticism. You'd much rather have, sycophantic fans praising you and not showing you elements where you need to improve. It's a proven fact at this point, since NXT moved to the USA Network, it lost its identity. When it moved to 2 hours, when it tried to become WWE Light, it doesn't feel the NXT we knew and enjoyed on the network. It's different. And he doesn't like being told that people don't like it as much anymore. because all he's ever had is praise about how great NXT is. Unfortunately, not that great anymore. And he can say, well, if you don't like it, don't watch. People aren't watching. The ratings aren't good. People weren't watching on Wednesdays, and guess what? They're still not watching on Tuesdays either. Anyway, going back to this one, Rosemary, clothesline to Deonna Purrazzo. Still feeling the arm, though. Packed Entertainment says, NXT is basically Triple H admitting he loves watching Impact Wrestling. I mean, look how Killer Cross, Scarlett Bordeaux, and 2 parts of the Rascals are being booked. Same with Taya Valkyrie and Eli Drake. Deonna Purrazzo working over the arm again of Rosemary. George Kenny says, that's right. He had better think that Triple H. I think there are a lot of wrestlers out there who are very good, but he better think that. Trevor Lee and Samuel Shaw, yeah. There's loads of people on the NXT roster and AEW roster that were in Impact. Deonna Purrazzo still working over the arm. This is what she does in the matches. She finds a way. It's great psychology by Deonna Purrazzo. All of her matches eventually come back to the arm. She works over the arm, then gets the Fujiwara armbar finisher most of the time. That's how she gets the win. That's why Deonna Purrazzo is one of the best in the world. And she doesn't want to go to WWE because, unfortunately, Triple H, that's, again, not how it works. Unfortunately, I'm sure he'll be very grumpy. There's probably a post-show media call tomorrow. And again, I'm sure he'll be very grumpy on that one. I'm sure he'll probably throw shade at all the journalists on that call because that's what he does on those calls. He gets very angry. Both superstars hit the rope double clothesline. Deonna Purrazzo and Rosemary are down. Rosemary and Deonna Purrazzo down in the ring. Referee's going to a count of 1. Packed Entertainment says Impact will always have the best female division because they care about their female talents. I won't include Japanese promotions because they've been doing it for a while as well. Well, yeah, I mean, I always say that I think WWE, it's a fair argument that they have one of, if not the best women's division, certainly in North America, but arguably the world. And the reason I say that is just because of the amount of talent they have under contract, right? They have some fantastic female performers under contract. But to say that, you know, all of the female talent in the world wants to come to WWE, look, I'm sure that a lot of people do. But there are a lot of people that don't, you know. People in the past might not have even wanted to go to WWE, but they knew that's where you had to go to make money. That's not the case anymore. Things have changed. Things have changed, and they don't like it, WWE. You know, they spent 2 years hoarding talent and paying people to sit at home. Now they've decided they don't want to pay anyone at all. So they change their business practices every 5 minutes. Rosemary going for a submission, but she can't clasp her hands because of the injured arm by Deonna Purrazzo. Again, psychology. You love to see it. Deonna Purrazzo can she lock it in? She's still struggling to clasp the fingers and lock in the submission in properly. Now she can't lock it in. Deonna Purrazzo manages to fight out, and now she's going to go for it. She's going to go for the Fujiwara armbar. Rosemary, she's got the guillotine. She's got a vice-like guillotine on. Rosemary's got like a version of a guillotine, or almost like it's not a bulldog choke. It's almost like, yeah, I would say it's a guillotine choke. Willie Bowen says the Knockouts division in Impact Wrestling is good. The Knockouts division in Impact Wrestling is one of the cornerstones of the company. It's one of the staples of the company. Rosemary went for the DDT, couldn't do it because of the injured arm. Side Russian leg sweep. Deonna Purrazzo floats over, armbar. Armbar's trapped. Oh, she's going for a different one. Venus de Milo locks it in. Venus de Milo is locked in. This might be it. Venus de Milo, obviously, if she's going to submit, she's going to have to say that she submits. She can't tap out. Look at that submission. Beautiful. Both arms pulled back. Awesome submission, oh, that is. Look at the grip by Deonna Purrazzo and Rosemary. She's gonna go to the ropes. Gets her foot on the rope. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, smash a like if you're enjoying Against All Odds. Of course, we'll be going live after the show for a post-show reaction stream as well. I've really enjoyed the watch along tonight so far, though. Great interactions with the live chat. This is why I love doing these things. Because it's like watching the show as I would do anywhere, but watching it with a bunch of friends. This is why we do this kind of stuff. Deonna Purrazzo stamping on the knee of Rosemary there. And she's worked on the arm, now the knee. Rosemary goes for a clothesline, duck down. It's going to go for the Venus. It's going to go for it again. Oh, no, she's going for something else. Oh, she's going after the knee. I mentioned that Rosemary was wearing a knee brace. She's got Rosemary's arms trapped. Now she's going for the knee. She's got to take this knee brace off. This doesn't look good for Rosemary. I mentioned she was wearing a knee brace. Rosemary's trapped. The knee brace is off. Deonna Purrazzo has taken off the knee brace. Protective knee brace has been taken away. The surgically repaired knee of Rosemary is exposed. George Kenny says, saw the NWA has announced an all-female pay-per-view coming up. Mickey James is going to handle it. Wonder who they're going to have. Oh, pump kick to the face. I would suspect people from Ring of Honor, probably people from AEW. Oh, Rosemary is coming back up. She's got signs of life. Impact, I don't know. Billy Corgan, there's heat. Oh, what a spear. Spear by Rosemary to Deonna Purrazzo. 1, 2. Oh, I thought I was 3 for a second there. I can't believe they switched the title. Oh, kicks out. That was close. Darthor says Shida or Rosa versus Purrazzo would be awesome. Absolutely. Packed Entertainment says it's Rosemary's time once again. She will be the face of the company once again. I can't wait. Donald Music Reacts says Young Bucks did the right decision, turning an offer with WWE down. I didn't like how Deonna was booked in NXT and jobbing on Raw. Exactly. Oh, pump kick to Rosemary. Deonna, oh my God, power driver. That's got to be it. 3. Deonna Purrazzo gets the victory with a power driver. Deonna Purrazzo retains Knockouts Championship, as expected, but a good match. The BFG podcast says, have you heard any update on how many people will be to attend the first Impact event in front of a live crowd? They were saying earlier, wasn't it something like between 60 and 100, something like that? It's not loads, but obviously in that Skyways Studios in Nashville, it'll feel like a lot. But Deonna Purrazzo retains after hitting the power driver. As expected, very solid match, psychologically sound. And that only means one match is left, folks. One match is left, and that's for the Impact World Championship. It's going to be time for the main event very shortly. We're going to be going to Daly's Place, and the commentary team is going to be, of course, Tony Schiavone, Don Callis, and Scott D'Amore. I think it is anyway. I don't think there's another match, is there? So we've seen Jordan Grace lose to Neil Dashwood. We've seen that X Division match end in a no contest, which I think sets up King of the Mountain. Knockouts tag team titles were retained. Impact's tag team titles were retained. W. Morrissey beat Rich Swann. Street Fight, the Good Brothers lose again. Knockouts Championship retained. Joe Doering beats Kojima. And we have the World Championship match set to come. So no titles have changed hands tonight. Will we see it in the main event? What is everyone's predictions for this main event? As we're waiting for the main event to begin, you can let me know your predictions in the live chat. Packed Entertainment says, damn it, I wanted Rosemary to win. Darthor says, let's go Omega. The BFG podcast says, have you noticed they're really teasing Britt Baker? TNA's a lot says, fun match. I thought the ending was by submission. Ah, yeah, power driver. Deonna Purrazzo showing different ways and methods that she's going to win matches. Eric Kennedy says, I expect the Dumb Bucks, that's a fun name, to interfere with this match. The Elite cannot win alone. Well, what's interesting, there's a couple of things I will say before we get into this one, because we're just seeing a pre-match promo package for this. So a couple of things. I said previously that I thought the Young Bucks would get involved, hence it being in Jacksonville. If they get involved and it becomes a no contest, that's 2 no contests on the same show, which I don't know if they would necessarily do. So I think we may get an actual winner here tonight, but I think if we get a winner, that means Moose gets pinned by Kenny Omega, and I just don't see them doing that. Now, obviously, we did see the opening match of the show was the Good Brothers facing off against Tommy Dreamer and Sami Callihan. As we mentioned at the time, Could they potentially do a situation whereby, well, they competed in the opening match and it only takes, I don't know, an hour and a half by plane to get to Jacksonville. They flew to Jacksonville. Or do we see the Young Bucks get involved? That's a possibility as well. There's lots of different outcomes here. But I think the outcome is that Kenny Omega retains. I just don't know if that's by pinning Moose. I don't know if that's by a no contest. They did a no contest earlier on, so would they really want to do another one now? Pact Entertainment says Ace Austin will come out of nowhere and says he wants to be part of the match. Unfortunately, I don't think that'll happen. Mick Thompson says Rosemary will never be a Knockouts champion. TNA's lot says if Kenny is really injured, he's hurt, not totally injured. I think that's probably worth mentioning. He's going to be defending the AEW World Championship against Jungle Boy in a couple of weeks. He's going to be obviously defending the championship tonight. This was taped a week ago. He's going to be defending the AAA Mega Championship at Triple Mania. He's hurt, he's banged up, but he's still going to be wrestling. Donald Music says Omega to retain. Eric Kenny says Kenny to win as Moose's contract is up soon. It doesn't look like he will re-sign with Impact. Well, the expectation is that he is going to re-sign with Impact Wrestling. That was the report. I know Moose debunked it, but that does appear to be the report. Pact Entertainment says, I wish this match was for all of Omega's championships. Franco says, here we go, ladies and gents. TNA's lot says Moose would dominate AEW. In the words of Sting, it's showtime. BFG podcast, he said, do you think they'll have Baker make an Impact appearance soon? I doubt it. I doubt it. Darth Thor says, the flip spear does not look great. Wish Moose did more of the young Goldberg spear. The young Goldberg spear, they used to just go through people. It was just, oof. So Impact World Championship's on the line. It's the one we've all been waiting for. Tony Schiavone, Don Callis, and Scott D'Amore on commentary. There we go. We're inside Daly's place, and there is pro wrestlers around the ring. So Tony Schiavone commentated on an Impact Plus main event. Who would have thought it? So here comes Moose. Moose coming out inside an AEW arena. He's coming out inside the AEW tunnel. We've got the wrestlers surrounding the ring. There we go. We're getting the Moose. We're getting the Moose entrance inside Daly's place, inside Jacksonville, Florida. Look at that. How awesome is that? How surreal is this? How surreal is this? You've got Moose coming out in the AEW set. You've got Tony Schiavone on the call for an Impact World Championship match. It just feels a bit surreal. It's a bit like on SmackDown versus Raw, isn't it? And this is in the configuration that of Daly's place of the new configuration or the original configuration. As I mentioned, we have the wrestlers surrounding the ring as well, so we do have some atmosphere, some fans in attendance. But yeah, seeing Moose inside of an Impact Wrestling ring just feels a bit odd, doesn't it? Of an AEW ring, rather, feels odd. And here he comes, Kenny Omega, the Impact World Champion, the AEW World Champion, the AAA Mega Champion. There he is, Kenny Omega. He's carrying all of his gold. He's carrying the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. He's carrying the AEW World Championship. He's carrying the AAA Mega Championship. And he's wearing the Impact World Championship. He's wearing the championship he's defending. Good that he's wearing the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. He's wearing the Impact World Championship. It just feels... I know I've probably said this like 2 or 3 times now, but it just feels crazy just to see Moose inside of an Impact Wrestling ring. It feels crazy to have Tony Schiavone on the call for an Impact World Championship match. If you'd have said, 2 years ago, Tony Schiavone is going to call an Impact World Championship match between Moose and Kenny Omega inside of Daly's place in Jacksonville, Florida, you would say, what are you smoking? Can I have some? Feels like a big-time main event. Having Scott D'Amore on commentary is a nice change of pace as well. Better than Josh Matthews. They're emphasizing no Sami Callihan, no Good Brothers. They were in action earlier tonight. Time will tell on that one. Skiavone is on commentary. Justin Roberts is going to be doing the ring introductions as well. Justin Roberts doing the introductions for an Impact Wrestling event as well. Oh, all of it is just crazy. I get it feels like you're in SmackDown versus Raw, and you've just decided that you're going to be doing it. Okay, I'm going to do the Impact World Championship match inside Daly's place. Why? Because I can. Because I can. Because it's SmackDown versus Raw. Because it's WWE 2K whatever. So we're just getting the ring introductions right now. Not from North Carolina, but rather from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. BFG podcast, they even gave us AEW production quality in Justin Roberts. Well, that is true. They did. Justin Roberts says, some say the greatest Impact Wrestling World Champion of all time. Darth Thor says, man, if only Ronaldo was making the call, that would be great, wouldn't it, if Mora was doing it? TNA's a lot says, I always liked Tenay better, but he's good too. I was a big Mike Tenay fan. Big fan of the Professor. Want to see Mike Tenay and Mike Tenay and Don West high-fiving each other. Brian Hedmer, the referee, though, of course, he's an Impact Wrestling official. Moose kisses the championship as the World Championship is held up high by Brian Hedmer. So an Impact Wrestling official inside of an AEW ring inside Daly's place. Tony Schiavone on the call with Scott D'Amore and Don Callis. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner, smash a like. If you're excited for this main event, this is going to be a good one. Eric Kenny says the Forbidden Door swings both ways. But there you see, you actually see all three of them. You see Executive Vice President of Impact Wrestling, Scott D'Amore, former Impact Executive Vice President, now AEW Talent, Don Callis, and AEW commentator Tony Schiavone on the call. So we do have, as I mentioned, wrestlers surrounding the ring. The atmosphere is actually still quite quiet, in fairness. Shoved by Omega, then he just powders to the outside. What's interesting, though, is it looks like they've removed all of the AEW branding, which is interesting. There's no AEW branding on the turnbuckles or anything like that. It looks like, anyway, which is surprising. Like I would have thought they it looks a bit odd because obviously the way that they removed or moved things at Daly's place is they have the hard camera facing what would be fans. Problem is there is no fans, so it's just black space. So it just looked like they're sort of resting in the middle of the warehouse. Basically, looking at it, you wouldn't know they're in Daly's place that much. That would be what I would say. You saw the entrances and you see the ring, but if you're just looking at it from a hard cam point of view, it's literally just a ring with just blackness behind it, darkness. It doesn't look like as much that they're in Daly's place, really. You know what I mean? Darth Force says, man, them wrestling in an AEW ring and place makes the partnership feel so much bigger now. BFG podcast says, if there was any chance of some of the big stars to AEW join the crossover, now would be the perfect opportunity. Maybe we see the Young Bucks, right? Maybe. TNA's a lot says there are AEW roster there too. Omega teeing off right hands to Moose. Whips Omega into the corner. Reverse elbow by Kenny Omega. Well, I said they've got the fans there to make it, you know, some atmosphere, even though there's not loads. And again, I would prefer that there was maybe better lighting on the hard cam, because that hard cam shot is very dark. And just, that hard cam one is very dark. Why couldn't they put some of the talent on the hard cam side in those seats as well? Because that is bothering me. Kenny Omega's going for one-winged angel. He's going for one-winged angel. Moose blocks. The ropes seem quite loose, don't they? Omega keeps going for the one-winged angel, but Moose is hanging on. We'll say again, having the wrestlers there does help some of the atmosphere, but it still does feel quite quiet, doesn't it? I'm surprised they haven't put some of the enhanced audio, the same thing that they've done for the Impact Zone, over the top of this. I think it would help, but I guess that's not really what AEW do with their programming. Omega went for a head scissors or a Hurricane Run, and Moose just catches him. Kenny manages to get the Hurricane Runner in the end, though. You see Omega's had the suction cup therapy on his back as well, which goes into the rumors that he's hurting quite bad right now. He's pretty banged up. Terminator collapse. Oh, Moose jumps straight back up onto the ring apron. Omega, oh, big boots. Moose drops down. Omega's going for another dive. Dives over onto Moose. As I mentioned, again, a bit of a strange atmosphere so far. I'm still trying to get to grips with how this production is going. Kenny Omega showing his tan lines, which is odd. Yeah, I'm trying to get to grips with the production here a little bit. As I mentioned, having the wrestlers surrounding the ring is certainly adding atmosphere, but they feel a bit quiet at points. It feels a bit cold. Again, I would have thought a better place to put the wrestlers would have been on the hard cam side of things. That dark space feels very, very cold, and again, it feels like if you were, I know I keep saying this, but if you were looking at just the hard cam of it, it looks very reminiscent of Bray Wyatt and John Cena in the Firefly Funhouse match last year, in the fact that it's just dark space in a ring. It's very strange. Omega's going to the top rope. Moose catches him. Moose wrestling with the earrings in, which is dangerous. Puts him up on the shoulder. Oh, big chop to Moose. That Canissio tape he has on his shoulders just falling off at this point. Another big chop. Moose just eating them. Hits the ropes. Omega, oh, ducks under. He's going to go for it again. Oh, takes out the knee. Hits the ropes again. Oh, missed the Koi Crusher. Or ripcord. Now, Kenny's got Moose on the shoulders. Forward roll is now going to go for the moonsault, I think. Moose kips up. Omega misses. Now Moose is going to go for a moonsault of his own. Standing moonsault by Moose. See, these kind of camera angles look better when you're showing Daly's place, when you're showing the crowd. That works. I do think there are some production issues, in my opinion. Moose taking the tape off his shoulder here. They're talking about Kenny Omega getting the suction cup therapy before the match. So again, this is where you can tell that it's just like crowd, like wrestlers, because it just goes quiet. Everyone stops, and then they remember they need to start talking again or start making noise. They just go like this. Oh, it's like, oh, I forgot. That's what I'm there for. Moose stomped to the back of Kenny Omega. Donald Music reacts as praying for Christian Eriksen. I agree. Well, whips Kenny Omega into the corner. The BFG podcast says, I would have liked to have seen Jim Ross on the match. I would like to have seen more than one commentator from the AEW side. I suppose it depends when they did this. Again, it was done about a week or so ago. We don't know if Jim Ross or maybe Excalibur was even there at that period of time. Would have been fun to see if they could have got Taz on commentary. Go back to old school TNA days, right? Get Taz on commentary. That would have been fun. Get Taz on commentary wearing Aces and Eights vest or something like that. That would have been a lot of fun. Omega's on the outside of the ring. Moose grabs him by the hair. Omega pulls Moose under the bottom rope, though. Moose, kicks Kenny Omega into the barricade. JR sluggish slobberknocker stuff. What did he call Andrade during his debut? Andrade Lilo. It was rather humorous. Oh, Moose just sends Omega into the barricade once again. Although what I will say about JR, I love a POJR. A couple of those Grilling JR podcasts when he's got some criticism, he's got something to get off his chest. Man, oh man, he gets fired up. I love it. Moose mocking Omega. He's doing the Bullet Club sign. Oh my God. Moose just dived over the barricade and landed on the concrete. Oh my God, that was unbelievable. Man, that looked nasty. Moose like broke his arm. Good God. Look at this. Jeez Louise. He dived over, literally dived over the barricade. He missed all the chairs. Darth Thor says they should have added in some crowd noise. I agree. I think they should have. Kenny Omega just threw the trash onto Moose. The BFG podcast says, I've never heard Scott as a commentator. He is surprisingly fantastic. I feel that this probably isn't the first time he's done it for Impact. Not this version, not since he's been EVP, but I have a feeling that he probably stepped in at points throughout his various times in Impact. Maybe on like Explosion or something like that. But I agree, he's very good. But I do agree that maybe this, whilst being inside Daly's place is great, there probably could have been some production things they could have done better. Lighting, fans on the hard cam side, maybe sweeten it up with some crowd noise, because whilst they have had the wrestlers around the ring, the atmosphere is still a bit quiet. And what's crazy is you go from watching it inside the Impact Zone, where because of the added enhanced crowd noise, that feels like it's got a better atmosphere with nobody there than it does with people there surrounding the ring, which feels a bit odd, doesn't it? Donald Music React says Andrade versus Omega. Book that. They have Triple Mania in August for the AAA Mega Championship. Omega now working on Moose on the outside. Oof. Omega working on the shoulder on the ring post. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, click the notification bell. If you are enjoying Against All Odds, smash a like on the like button too. As Kenny Omega is facing Moose right now. Kenny Omega working over his opponent inside Daly's place in Jacksonville, Florida, the home of All Elite Wrestling. Interesting that the All Elite Wrestling wrestlers surrounding the ring are chanting Kenny sucks. So much for the home field advantage. I mean, logic would suggest that Moose, right, would be the one to get the hostile reception. I mean, he's in enemy territory, right? Surely the people there should be cheering the EVP of their company. Logic would suggest it would make sense that Kenny Omega is cheered as an EVP of AEW inside the home field of AEW, right? That would make sense. But Moose, I guess, is the babyface here. The crowd are now chanting, well, I said the wrestlers are now chanting, shame on you, which is bizarre. Shame on you. Shame on you chant by these wrestlers surrounding the ring. I mean, they're trying, but some of the chants, and again, now they do it again now. They've just gone quiet again. Then you get someone reminding them again, oh, we have to chant again. But Omega is dissecting Moose. I would assume, it does seem to be a bit like they're feeling a bit fatigued with the heat that's obviously there in Jacksonville. Omega continuing to try and work over the shoulder of Moose. The question is are the Young Bucks going to show up? That was my prediction, that the Bucks would show up. Time will only tell if they will, of course. Oh, pump kick by Moose. Discus clothesline. Oh, and Kenny rolls through, goes into a cross arm breaker. Eventually got there in the end. Moose hesitated on the lariat, and Kenny capitalized with the cross arm breaker. I tell you what, Scott D'Amore is an excellent commentator. He very much is. I mean, you don't hear him as much when you're doing the watch along because you have to focus on other things. But from what you can hear, he's very good. Don Callis just screaming that Moose has got a handful of tights when he obviously does not. Triangle choke attempt by Kenny Omega. I don't think he can officially lock it in or fully lock it in. Moose with the power bombed. Ooh. Moose just absolutely dropped Kenny Omega on his shoulder. I think he's got a bad shoulder as well. TNA's lot says the people are cheering Moose. Yeah, I know. I don't really get it. I understand Moose in the storyline is a babyface, but in reality here, surely shouldn't Kenny be cheered by his home field fans? I mean, they are AEW wrestlers in the crowd. Surely they would be cheering the AEW wrestler, the AEW EVP. Oh, uppercut by Moose in the corner. George Kenny says Sammy's going to show up, ruin it for Moose. I don't think so. I think he's in Nashville, isn't he? Unless, again, maybe he got a plane as well. Moose hits a couple of drop kicks on Kenny Omega. Beautiful drop kick by Moose there. Maybe AEW are trying to convince Moose to sign. Maybe this is like a tryout for Moose in AEW. Moose goes again. Oh, boot to the face by Omega. Moose tells Omega to go to hell. Oh, my gosh. Powerbomb. Again, that was nasty landing by Omega. Gosh. Some of the bumps that Omega's taken in this one have been rough. Really rough. It was close. Crowd are chanting, this is awesome. Because it's their job. Omega and Moose making it back to their feet here. Oh, knee to the face by Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, Snapdragon suplex. Oh, Moose is back on his feet already. Oh, V-trigger knee. V-trigger again to the face of Moose. Nasty, that one. Goes for it again. Two. Oh, Moose kicks out. Omega's showing a bit of frustration now that Moose was able to kick out of the V-trigger. Kenny back to his feet. He's saying it's over, saying it's the end. Is he going to go for a one-winged angel? What's he going for? He's to be setting up for something. Going to go for a double underhook. George Kenny says you can fly from Nashville to Florida in less than 45 minutes. So maybe, this was what I said, this is maybe why they had the Good Brothers and Sami Callihan as the opening match of the show. That was literally the first thing I said right at the start of this stream once we got into the show going on air. As soon as they had this match as the opener, I went, they could technically get to Jacksonville, right? Not impossible. Oh, going for these forearms. Omega's going forearms. Darth Thor says Omega is doing this match with the stitches in his hand. That's right. He got stitches in his hands after he sliced his hand open at Double or Nothing, which, again, evidence that this was filmed in the last week or so. Omega, I mean, they're trading off forearms at this point. Oh, Kenny Omega, he can't even do it. Oh, isn't it? He was playing possum. Oh, kick to the arm. Oh, a headbutt by Moose. Headbutt to the shoulder. It looks like Moose hits the post. Oh, my God. What a lariat. Kenny Omega. Oh, almost a version of a tiger bomb. Didn't get all of it. 2. Oh, Moose kicks out. Kenny Omega's selling even more frustration. Good match so far. Scott DeWall referencing that Don Callis is a former 5-time Canadian heavyweight champion. Don Callis has responded, thank you. You're welcome. Why didn't they just have Don Callis and Scott DeWall on commentary every week for Impact? That would have solved their problems. V-trigger knee once again. I suppose Don Callis and Scott DeWall can't do everything. On a V-trigger to the injured arm. Or the injured shoulder. And again, another V-trigger by Omega to the shoulder. Omega says that's it. This could be it for Moose at this point. He's trying to get Moose to his feet. Is this going to be it? He's aiming to get Moose up. Can he get him? I don't even know if he can get Moose up. Omega's slapping himself on the head. He's going to go for it. Here we go. He's got him up. He's got him up. Oh, Moose floats through. Ripcord. Oh, my God. What a lariat. Just nearly took Kenny Omega's head off. Look at that. Oh, my God. That lariat nearly turned Kenny Omega inside out. Then he took his head off. Oh. This one is physical. The referee's checking on Moose because, of course, he's got the injured shoulder. Of course, Moose coming into it had the tape on. And in comes Doc Sampson. Doc Sampson's coming in. AEW senior medical official. Moose is selling the injury. Doc Sampson's in the ring. I don't know what's going on. He's saying to the referee he can still continue. He's waving the referee away. Referee and Doc Sampson. Oh, another V-trigger by Kenny Omega. Omega's going to the top rope. What's he planning here? Omega. Oh, Moose is out. Oh, my gosh. Moose is... Here we go. Spanish fly off the top rope. Wow, wow, wow. Spanish fly by Moose. The guy is an animal. 1, 2. Omega kicks out. I'll tell you what, this match has built into something very, very good, hasn't it? You're sort of getting over at this point. We're getting over the production stuff. Beautiful Spanish fly. Moose for years, for a couple of years in Impact, it felt like he just wasn't going to click again, not in great shape, or wasn't the best pro wrestler, wasn't the best talker, but the amount of improvement that this guy's had, it's pretty incredible, really. Great main event so far. Oh my gosh, Moose just accidentally speared the referee. Moose went for a spear, and Kenny Omega, looked like he might have pulled the referee into the way. So we have a ref bump. Get ready for some interference. Get ready for interference. I think we might have the Young Bucks show up at this point. So Brian Hebner is down. So what happens? Omega's down. Brian Hebner's down. There he is. There they are. The Young Bucks are here. The Young Bucks super kick. A pair of super kicks by the Young Bucks to Moose. I said they would show up. So there you go. It's Max and Jeremy Buck, the Generation Me are inside Impact Wrestling. BTE trigger by the Young Bucks onto Moose. The Young Bucks are here. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought it? The Young Bucks are in Impact Wrestling once again. Hey, as soon as you said it, as soon as we said it, this is going to happen. One-winged angel by Kenny Omega to Moose. The Young Bucks have just picked up Brian Hedmer. This is going to be it. 1, 2, 3. Kenny Omega gets the victory. Scott DeBoer says this is bullshit. But the Young Bucks are back in Impact Wrestling. The Young Bucks have returned. Generation Me has returned to Impact Wrestling, and they have helped Kenny Omega retain the Impact World Championship. Does this mean that the Young Bucks are going to return? So maybe Generation Me show up at Slammiversary. But the Kenny Omega defeats Moose. Scott D'Amore saying this is disgusting. There's Nick Jackson dancing in the ring. When the lights have gone out. Well, is this Sami Callihan's going to show up? Sami Callihan's inside. Sami Callihan's in Daly's place. How? How is Sami Callihan inside Daly's place? What the hell is going on? Sami Callihan's attacking everyone with a baseball bat. Don Callis is waving him off. Don Callis is now going up to him. He's called Sami Callihan a piece of garbage. Don Callis is saying that he's his boss. Scott D'Amore's on commentary. He doesn't look happy. What's going on? Sami Callihan's getting a steel chair into the ring. Callihan, oh no, he's threatening to hit Kenny Omega with a baseball bat. Don Callis has just fired Sami Callihan. What the hell? He says he's just fired him. Don Callis has fired Sami Callihan. Scott D'Amore's making his way to the ring. What the hell's going on? This is crazy. Don Callis says Sami Callihan's fired. Scott D'Amore's now running to the ring. This is crazy. What's going on? Sami Callihan saying bullshit, and that's it. We've gone off the air. Oh my God. And the Young Bucks are back in Impact Wrestling. Sami Callihan's been fired. Oh, my God. Oh, right, guys. Okay, we're going to go to a reaction.